What's up? 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 What is up? How are y'all doing today? It is a new year. Happy new year, everyone that is out there. It is finally 2024, and I thought what better way than to kick it off with a live. I know we could have done it before, but I figured why not just wait till the new year. I am your host, Emmanuel Eman Noisette. And while it is true that the movie news and the entertainment world has been kind of dry, I figured this would be a great time to go ahead. And many of you have requested this as well to talk about some of my favorite things from 2003 and some things that I'm looking forward to in 2024. So I'm going to go over a list of different things from 2023 TV shows to the movies that I really enjoyed. Then we'll talk about the 2024. I'll do some TV shows and some movies that I'm looking forward to. Maybe these are things that you've heard about. Maybe these are things you haven't heard about. But I will be sharing with you what I'm excited for. And then I think towards the end, we are going to go over everything that happened in What If season 2. Now, just to kind of give you guys a heads up, I am not going to do a full breakdown on every single episode, but we will go through the episodes and I'll just kind of give you my quick review over everything, and we'll talk about it here and there as well, but I will be doing a quick version of that. Want to just say shout out to everybody that are tuning in live right now, but also shout out to the replay gang. I always appreciate y'all coming through. If anybody here is new, just so you know, you too can be a part of the EFAM. It's very easy. All you got to do is subscribe, and you too can also share your thoughts and comments and join one of the livest chats of all on YouTube. Let's see, we got a couple folks here. Let me give a couple quick shout outs here. Oh man, my man Reese is back in the building. Good to see you, Reese. Thank you so much for being here. Chris and Pratt and holding it down with the Mod Squad. Thank you both so much, along with Angel. I see you guys are hanging out a little later. That is all good. Appreciate y'all. Shout out to JN. How you doing? Wouldn't be a chat without Ms. Harper holding it down. Thank you so much. Sharon, oh my gosh, thank you so much for being here. It's always great to have you on the live, even though I know you be coming through on the replay, but I love to have you here. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you. Dex of Reasons here. My man, what's up? Paul, how you doing? We got the homie Zia Latrice. My man Kenny is back. Didier, what's up? How are you? Deborah Rodriguez, good to see you as well. Tasha, I see you. Christy, how you doing? Dietrich, how you doing? Thank you so much. Nelson V, what is up? Hoodlum, how you doing? Wawa, hello. Metreon, I see you. Nighthawk, what is up? My man Dre, what is up, man? Mr. Hughes, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. Travis, I see you as well. AJ, thank you so much for being here. Got aloha, hello. Diamond, thank you so much for being here as well. Thank you. Let's see who else. My man Andrew is back. Always a pleasure. Ikuri, hello. Good to see you. My man Johnny Washington, good to see you as well. We got the Mod Squad back in effect with Alib. Good to see you. EB, good to see you too. Mr. Mitchell, how are you? Pierre, what's going on? Plush, thank you so much. Let's see. I listen, don't make assumptions. Robert, what is up? Good to see you. Trouble Clef, thank you so much. Dwight, good to see you again. Eric, thank you so much. Raymond, always a pleasure. Shaqua, hello. My man Phil Roy is back in action. Good to see you. Kristen, how are you? Ms. Lilla, hello. Good to see you. Come on through, Stephanie. Always a pleasure to have you back. Carl, I see you as well. Let's see. Aisha, how are you? Thank you so much. Let's see. Hannibal, good to see you. The Dragon, what is up? How are you? Who else? We got all the way across the pond. Stamina MC, good to see you, brother. Thank you so much. 60 plus. My man Buzz is in the building. Good to see you. Robert, good to see you too. Jesus or Jesus, hello. T-Ville, Treese, Sunshine, Peace, Derek, Mario, and Roger. Shout out to everyone that has made it out today. I really do appreciate y'all so much. Let's see. Let me get to, I got to give some shout outs here because some folks was blessing the channel. Come on through. Low key, thank you so much for the $25 cash app. Says happy new year to you and your family. Happy new year to you and your family as well. Thank you so much. Really do appreciate you. Let's see. I also got some hold on, let me see what happened to him. Hold on, I got, here we go. Bam. JM, what you got? Happy new year. EFAM college football playoffs is on. Replay gang, Yabambe. Hey, all good. I don't watch college football, so go whoever. But yeah, yeah, I wish I could support it a little bit more, but it's too many teams. I can't keep up. I don't know which conference. I got to stick to the regular NFL, but that's just me. I could never really get into college football like that. JM with another one. Thank you so much. Disney just lost copyrights to Mickey Mouse allegedly. That copyright master should go back to the community, right? I mean, Mickey is black. Well, I mean, listen, even if Mickey is black, I mean, he's been owned and franchised by Disney for so long, ain't nobody gonna really claim him like that. Plus, I need to see Mickey doing a little bit more contributions to the community before we just start reclaiming folks, if that is the case. But it's not alleged. I believe it is actually true that the rights for the Mickey Mouse brand, like the original design and all that, it is set to expire. I think it might already expire. And this is very similar to what we saw with Bambi. We've seen this also with Winnie the Pooh, where the character rights have expired and they've basically just been out there. They're now available for the public domain. So what does that mean? That means, well, basically the same way we just saw them weird horror movies of Winnie the Pooh killing everybody, or Bambi killing folks or whatever. You might start seeing some spin-offs now with Mickey Mouse because everything is up for grabs now. So that's gonna be very interesting to see how that plays out and where it goes moving forward. But it is what it is. But thank you so much, Jay, and I appreciate you. Come on, Sharon, throwing the super stickers. Thank you so much for your contribution. You always holding it down and you keep the lights on. Thank you so much. I really appreciate you. What else we got? I see oh man, my man Buzz coming through. Happy New Year. Right back to you, brother. Thank you so much for the support for the channel. Let's see. Anthony, you're not going to tell us your favorite things from 2023? Of course. Oh, 2003. No, that's going to be really far back. Did I mess up earlier? Did I say 03 instead of 2023? I don't know. Maybe I did. But anyway, thank you, man. I appreciate the support. Let's see. Dang, why is this not starring all the stuff for me? Okay, hold on. I'm missing some stuff here. Boom, here we go. Anthony again. Merry New Year. Something told me to do my workout for tonight instead of this afternoon. Now I know why. How we doing, everyone? Thank you so much, and I'm glad we could be a part of the workout. And yeah, shout out to everybody that's starting that new year with a new you and a new body. I'm thinking about starting that up myself, but we'll see what happens. Let's see. Low key coming through. Happy New Year in chat. Hope you all are blessed, happy, and healthy holiday. Low key, thank you so much. And again, thank you right back at you with you and yours. Let's see. What else did I have? I think I'm all caught up there. Oh, okay, here we go. Anthony, it's the Steamboat Willie version of Mickey Mouse. Okay, so the black and white version, basically, that is public domain. Anyone can do whatever they want with that version only. Okay, cool. Thank you for that clarification. Yeah, that's going to be I think I just saw a video game or something. I think it was called Infestation 88 or something like that, where you're fighting against like some scary old Mickey Mouse or something. I don't know. It's out there. It's weird. Strange things are going to be happening coming soon, but we'll see. All right, so let's see, just to kind of give y'all a quick wrap up of what I've been doing. So again, I was off last year. I was off last week, just kicking in with the fam, just taking vacation. But of course, I had a bone to pick with Thor and Odin. I've been playing. I finally got, don't judge me, I finally got my PS5. I was waiting on the Black Friday sale and I finally got it. But I was playing God of War Ragnarok. I haven't beat it yet, so don't spoil the story for me. But I am having a blast right now. My hands hurt because I've been fighting them berserkers, and yeah, I killed about 3 of them. I have no business fighting them because I think my Kratos is only at level 4, and I was fighting these dudes at level 8, and I had no idea why they were so hard, and I was just stupid for putting 3 hours in, but I beat a couple of them, so I got my confidence up. Okay, I feel like can't nobody stop me now when I sat here and whooped a level 8 berserker. Okay, so some of y'all that played the game, you know what I'm talking about. I do have Spider-Man 2. I bought the bundle, but I'm not gonna play that until I'm gonna wait a while to play that. I'm gonna wait maybe a couple months because I know they still got bugs. They still got the new game plus that's coming out with the update. So I'm gonna wait on Spider-Man, even though I know it's fire. But yeah, this God of War, I'm taking my time. I'm doing every single side mission. I'm even looking for all the ravens, all the chests. I'm doing everything. I'm 100% this one, or maybe 99%, whatever. But I'm gonna take my time with it. So yeah, that's been taking my time. I hear a lot of y'all saying I should live stream it. Here's the thing: I haven't researched how to live stream video games. I know it's a thing. I know people do it. Honestly, I don't watch people play video games, so I don't know what y'all be looking for. I be kind of self-conscious. I'm like, do y'all really want to see me fighting the same guy for 3 hours? Like this stuff I do it at night by myself. You know what I'm saying? But like for 3 hours on the same boss, who? I mean, listen, if y'all want it, we can. Okay, you know. Again, I don't understand the video game watching culture, so if that's something people like, okay, cool. But I'll figure it out and I'll get to it. I see my man Johnny was asking Ghost of Tsushima. Of course, I got Ghost of Tsushima. I got the director's cut. So I think my game plan is because I'm stuck. I have a lot of old Assassin's Creed videos, video games that I have not played. So I just beat Unity, trash. Oh god, I know I'm in the bad lump of Assassin's Creed games. I'm trying to build my way up to Origins and all the other ones. So I'm gonna beat God of War, and then I'm gonna play one more Assassin's Creed. I think it's Unity that I got to do or whatever. I'm just gonna blow through the game. I'm not gonna do all the stuff or whatever. And then I'm gonna do Ghost of Tsushima. And then after Ghost, I'll probably play another Assassin's Creed game to kind of catch up. And then by that time, I should be playing Spider-Man. And then I think I got some of the Star Wars game, Fallen Orders, Jedi Survivor. I think I got some of those. I just bought them when they were on sale. So I bought those. So I'll play some of those. And yeah, but keep in mind now, y'all, I get a chance to play these things now because I'm on break. I cannot play these things during the year when I'm like not on break because y'all not gonna see me. Y'all gonna be like, "What happened to the live chat?" And I'll be like, "Look, I gotta go save New York." Like it's gonna be I gotta pick my times, wisely. So just saying, just kind of bear with me. This is why I'm so behind on my video game playing so far. Outside of that, let's see. I just got done with my fantasy football. For some of y'all that play fantasy football, this year I toned it down. Usually I'll be like in the 20s with my leagues, but I toned it down to just 15. And so out of the 15 teams, 8 of them made the playoffs. And then I went to one of them. I played for third place, didn't make it, and that's fine. The money they wasn't paying no money anyway, so I didn't care. And then I made 2 of them second place and 3 of them first place. So your boy made it. At least 5 out of 15 got a little cash money back, So I'm okay with that. I made a little bit more than I invested. But I told y'all, your boy does this. Okay, listen, I'm telling you, if it was not for the movie stuff, I almost was gonna get into the fantasy football like space. Like that was almost where I was about to go, because listen, I don't play with that. I don't play with that, but I do want my money. But anyway, let's see. Oh, Jesus, thank you so much. Happy New Year. Right back to you. Appreciate you. Let's see. Okay, so let us go ahead and jump right into the top 2023 TV shows. So now here's the thing. These were so many shows that I really enjoyed. They were a lot of shows that it was just really hard to pick and to rank these things because I like these shows for different reasons. So, like, for example, when I tell y'all don't go completely off of a rating, one show might be an 8 out of 10 and another one might be an 8 out of 10, but they could be 8 out of 10s for completely different reasons. And it might depend on what day I feel like liking this show or not, So don't really take this order. I'm just saying what I liked, what I enjoyed from 2023. And that's just pretty much where I'm gonna go with it. But let's see, which show can we start off with? You know what? Let's go with this one. And this was one that I did enjoy. It was Succession, and it was the final season 4, I believe. And this came on HBO Max, and I thought that this was a really, really solid show in terms of the acting. The writing definitely felt authentic. I mean, I definitely started to connect with a lot of the characters, even though I couldn't stand a lot of them. The children were definitely getting on my nerves for different reasons. But Brian Cox, the old guy, he basically was like, he was definitely the linchpin of the entire show. Had a really, really good time watching this. And I was a little bit, I mean, the ending was interesting, but like there were certain creative decisions in the show that like I was like, yeah, this is how y'all going, this is the direction you gonna take this character, this is what you're gonna have them do out of nowhere, so like there were a couple things that I was kind of like, I don't know what y'all doing with this, but overall I did enjoy the show and I thought it was pretty solid as a whole. The next one, I was sleep on this until I don't know who it was that brought it to my attention, but I was very happy that I stuck with it. And that is The Bear. This was on Hulu and FX. Now, The Bear was definitely something I did not see coming. I mean, I'm not even like a cooking show kind of guy, right? But this show definitely started to grow on me. And man, when we got to season 2, when we got to the family dinner, yikes, that was good acting, that was good writing, that was solid. So overall, I love The Bear. It was just one of those shows I didn't have high expectations for. I knew people were talking about it, and it just didn't register to me like how good it would be, but my God, it was solid. And I had a very, very good time with it. Next up, we have a show that we covered. We talked about this, and I gotta say, Ahsoka was the Star Wars show that I was looking for all this time, and I had such a great time with this show. I know this thing right here. They gave us the lightsabers, they gave us the Force, they gave us characters, they gave us development. I mean, talk about character development, specifically Ahsoka. She ain't that little Padawan that we grew up with Clone Wars. Like, she done grew up. She's somebody else. She's learning her ins and outs. She a whole master now. Loved it. Listen, love me some Rosario Dawson. You know what I'm saying? So this was a match made in heaven in terms of what they did. The only issue I had was, why did they have to take her headband off? Okay, that still freaks me out. It still bothers me that they took her headband. I was like, why? I didn't want to see her hairline. You know what I'm saying? We ain't have to see the lace front hairline. It was weird. It's still weird. But outside of that, everything else was cool. Definitely like how they ended it, at least leading up to the next season. Got me interested. I'm here for it. So yeah, that was definitely something I enjoyed. Next up was based off of a very popular video game that I was too scary, still am too scary to play, and that is The Last of Us on HBO. So The Last of Us, Pedro Pascal, Bella Ramsey. Now this show I think was definitely one of the best, most faithful adaptations from a video game. And this right here definitely had me going. Again, I have not played the video games, but I've watched gameplay and I've watched like the cinematic stuff. So I'm pretty familiar with what's going on at this point. But by the time the show was going on, I wanted to let the show kind of tell the story for me. So I kind of held off on some things just to see where the story was going. And my goodness, there were so many things that I was not expecting. Gosh, what was it? It was the gay couple, Frank and I forget the other guy's name. Maybe I got them all mixed up. But that story, my gosh, that felt like it was Emmy award winning, and I think it did get nominated just for that episode. But my goodness, The Last of Us was dope. The clickers definitely scary. I could not. I don't know how y'all do it. Some of y'all out there playing the game, like E-Man, play the game. I'm like, why do y'all like stress? Y'all like high blood pressure? Y'all like anxiety? Y'all like that? Listen. I was looking at them things on the video games and all that, and in the TV show. No thanks, no thanks. Nah, man, you can't even kill them things on one shot. Nah, G, nah, that's a pass for me. So, but anyway, what the show did, fantastic. The show did it. It was wonderful. And I know the direction that it might be going in for season 2. And I'm like, how y'all gonna make that work? So I do know what's gonna happen. I have played the games. I'm not gonna spoil it for nobody, but I don't know how they're gonna make that work. But either way, fantastic show, great writing overall, loved it. Let's see, what else do we have? You know what? I don't think we talked about this, and that was my fault because this is a guilty pleasure that my wife and I like to watch, together. But y'all, I love me some You. I don't know if you've seen it or not, but You on Netflix is one of my favorite shows because this man right here is a menace. Okay, this man, Joe Goldberg, is an entire problem, and he is not only a national problem, he is now an international problem. Okay, this dude right here, I don't know whether to root for Joe or whether to boo him. Like it's one of those things where like this is just really, really good character development and good writing because this is not a good guy. Okay, he's not a good guy, but because he's the main antagonist, because he's the main character, you almost kind of sort of feel like you got to root for him. You be like, yeah, man, go ahead, Joe, go ahead and stalk that girl. She is you, like. And I mean, if you watch the show, you know what I'm talking about. This is a whole stalker, but this dude got some problems. Okay. The man, and then season 4 took it to another level. Okay. My man got some mental health issues beyond comprehension. Okay. And I love the fact that they took it to another level. I love the fact that this show just continues to find a way to give unique storytelling. And this time, I have to say, I did not see a lot of the twists and turns coming. There were certain things I was like, okay, I know what y'all doing. I know. And then I was like, oh, well, that was a big reveal that I just blew me away. So season 4 of You was on point. I loved it. And that right there is definitely one of my favorite shows that, once again, I didn't see it coming. When they first announced it, they was like, hey, here's a show about a stalker. And I'm like, what? They got it. They did it. So I like it. Let's see. Here's another. Oh, this is more recent. And again, we probably should have covered this, but just didn't have time. It was too much stuff going on. But y'all, Gen V. Woo-wee! Gen V on Amazon Prime. That show right there definitely lived up to its predecessor, which was The Boys. So The Boys, in case you don't know, that's the superhero drama on Amazon as well. And this was all a spinoff based off of that same universe, and I had no idea that all of these people, complete no names. I've never seen most of these actors at all, and they all stepped up because the writing and the performances elevated everything else. It didn't matter if there was somebody in there that you knew or not. The story was good. They still find a way to gross you out. I don't know how, but they still find a way to gross you out in this show. Okay, like my man who had the certain compulsion. Every time he see the every time he see what, it's a compulsion. You know, the fact that they I can't even describe some of the things that the show has done because it might get me kicked off of YouTube. That's how outlandish this show is. I don't know how they keep finding that line and they just kick that line and say, forget this line. Okay, forget it. But man, that was satisfying. The ending was fantastic. This was a great way to show how spin-offs should be, right? You live in a world, you're not really completely dependent on the main story arc. Yeah, you reference it here and there, little tidbits. But when it's done, you're also setting up the next series. Great work. Perfect stuff. I loved it. Absolutely enjoyed it. That was definitely one of my favorites for sure. Next up is something y'all know I have raved about this show. I had no idea it was gonna be this good, but man, oh man, Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix. Yo, this probably was one of my favorite animations of all of 2023 for a TV series. This show was it just blew me out of the water. Like, I had no idea the writing was going to be impeccable. You got the main character doing their thing. I don't even know if I posted my review. I probably need to post it again. But my goodness, this was such a pleasant surprise on Netflix. It had no business being as good as it was. And I mean, the violence, the story, the character development. I mean, the relationships with even the side characters. I was just sitting here like, yo, I'm invested with every episode. I don't even think there was any bad episodes. And on top of that, it only got better as you got closer. The more we got to the end, the closer we got to the end, this thing started saying, you thought you knew action. You thought you saw Kill Bill. You thought you knew John Wick. We gonna put it all together. And I was like, yo, y'all got it. Y'all got it. Y'all sold me. So Blue-Eyed Samurai was absolutely one of my favorites as well for 2023. Let's see. Next up, we do have something that we also covered. And this was kind of a favorite even before this year, and that is Loki season 2. Now, I wouldn't say that this had as much action as the previous ones or anything like that, but you know what? With this show could be summarized, I would say it's the epitome of character development. This whole show took its time, not only to tell you about the multiverse and all of that, but dang it, we got a Loki that we have never ever anticipated we would ever see. And that is the beauty of storytelling in television or episodic formats. Because this Loki, if y'all go back and think about where this Loki came from, trying to conquer Asgard, trying to conquer Midgard, trying to, beat up the Avengers and all of that, then getting thrown into TVA and being, going through his whole breaking down. They deconstructed his character in season 1. And then this time around, my man just said, yo, I just don't want to be alone. Woo! Who don't want to be alone? Which one of y'all don't want to be alone? Don't nobody want to just be alone forever? And this guy said, you know what? Sacrifice. So yes, Loki season 2 to me is one of the best. I think I did put it as my best series, especially on Disney Plus. Especially in the MCU. This was just fantastic. Tom Hiddleston did his thing. And this was absolutely one of the best shows for 2023. Last but not least, and y'all should know this by now, this was definitely something I've covered extensively. Matter of fact, I still need to make more videos for this too. But if you have not been a part of the Fromily, I don't know what to tell you, because from season 2, woo, talk about stress, talk about anxiety, talk about great performances. Got my man Harold Perrineau in there doing his thing. I still think he needs to be Oscar nominated. Or I'm not Oscar, Emmy nominated. You see Creepy Smiley in the background as well. But this show has definitely had me from day one. The moment I started shout out to Rhonda, and shout out to everyone else that put me on From. Absolutely one of the best TV shows that not enough people are talking about. And I will continue to put in all my efforts to make sure y'all watching this show, because it's just so fun. It comes from the same creative team, I want to say, that was behind Lost. And the writing I really, really enjoy. Listen, there's a lot of frustration with this show, though. Okay, one of the frustrations is you ain't gonna get all the answers. You're gonna get some answers, but then you're gonna get more problems, and then you're gonna get more questions. So the hope with this show is that at some point they will finally just give some answers and we can figure it all out. But I'm still a little curious, because I'm like, part of the fun is the mystery. And if we get the answers, is it no longer fun? I don't know. But the way season 2 left us, I definitely got I'm more excited now. That definitely left me on a good note. So I was very, very excited for this season. Especially with all the things. And of course, if you go watch my theory videos and my breakdown videos, I think that they were giving us a lot more stuff than we bargained for. But yes, from season 1 and 2, was absolutely one of my favorite things from 2023. But anyway, guys, that is all I have for this whole top 2023 TV shows. I see some people are being real funny because they wanted this show to make it, but of course it did not make my 2023 list for whatever reason. But I will say that I have made the commitment. I did make the promise. I didn't forget, but I will do my best to finish this show, because I'm a sucker for punishment. So Twisted Metal is not going to make the list, but I will make an effort to finish it at some point. So you guys let me know, what did you enjoy in 2023? How did you feel about the list that I gave you? Were there any shows on there that maybe I missed? Was there any shows that maybe should have been on the list? Whatever you think, please let me know in the comments down below. All right. Let's see. See, of course, we always gotta have somebody. There's always gotta be one. You see it. You saw where it was at. Oh, you know what? I've heard of For All Mankind. I just haven't had time. But I have tried to go see. Let's see. Okay, I'm finally gonna start From. Oh, what platform? Anthony, this melts my heart. From is on it's on Epix or Amazon Prime. Oh my gosh. When you go watch, you make sure to go watch my breakdown videos for every episode. I still got to do season 1, episode 10. I didn't forget. I still got to do that. But you go do that and have a great time. I cannot wait. Let me know how that journey goes, because that's a journey. It's a journey. So thank you so much for that. Appreciate you. Ooh, I'm about to go through. I'm about to go and yeah, see TV. I know. That's on me. I've been slacking. I need to finish episode 10 for season 1, because there's still something juicy in there that I don't think people caught. So I need to do my due diligence and finish that. Plus, I'm gonna recap everything because I know when season 3 come out, people gonna need a refresher. I need a refresher. So I'm gonna go through, I'm gonna make a lot of videos for From. So From is gonna get back on point. Trust me, it will. Let's see. Wait a minute. Did I skip one? Hold on. Dang it. I think I skipped. Oh no, I think I skipped something. Where is it? Wait a minute. Oh man, I did skip it. Wait a minute. I'm sorry, guys. I skipped one of my shows from 2023. Hold on. Let me add this because this was one of my shows that I like too. Hold on. Where is it at? Yeah, there it is. How come that didn't add on? Weird. Okay. Let me add this on. Another show that I absolutely loved on Netflix is Beef. Beef is you got Ali Wong and Stephen Young. This was a show that I don't think it definitely caught me by surprise. And once again, those are the best shows when they catch you off guard like this. But what I absolutely loved with Beef is the fact that the writing was so on point. I mean, you could watch this show and like the things that happen in episode 3, it could be like one line and it'll have such a big impact in episode 8 or something like that. The actors were definitely on point. The fact that they kept finding a way to escalate this beef, this all started with just a straight up, little road rage incident that I think any one of us could have. Anybody could have this. But the fact that they went from this to 100 was a whole nother story. And the fact that they was able to do this in an interesting and captivating fashion, Beef was absolutely on my list for one of the best shows of 2023. But yeah, so y'all let me know, what did you think? If you have seen it, let me know in the comments down below. All right, so I did get that one. All right, there we go. I don't know how I missed that. Okay, so I got the TV. So now let's kind of go through some of my top movies from 2023. Again, I'm not going to go in the order of like best ones because some of these I really like for different reasons. But I'll just kind of give you a couple movies. Maybe some of them you have seen, maybe you haven't seen yet. But these are just, of course, some of the films that stood out to me that I absolutely had a good time with one way or another. Let me just start off with this one. This one's also on Netflix. It's called Maestro. Now this might not be for everyone, okay, but this is a movie that I found compelling. I thought it was interesting. It has to do with the legendary conductor Leonard Bernstein, who I had no idea who that was. But he's played here by Bradley Cooper and Carey Mulligan. She plays his wife, Felicia. And they had an interesting relationship, to say the least. Again, I didn't even know who this guy was. I don't follow, orchestra conductors, but apparently, if you live in New York, I guess he was a very influential person. Especially back in the 70s or something. I think he was like one of the first people to actually be televised with orchestras and all these different things. But the relationship is definitely something I wouldn't say it's on Will and Jada level, but it was different. It was different. Especially for that time. But my goodness. So Bradley Cooper directed this, and this is the second time he's directed a film. And the last time he directed a film was A Star Is Born. And I had not seen the previous A Star Is Born movies because it's been a movie that's been redone multiple times. But I wanted to give this one a shot. And I mean, listen, I got emotional. Like it was like there were some scenes in here that are tough to watch, but Bradley Cooper was fantastic in this. The direction was cool. Again, I know it might not be for everybody. It is more of a drama or whatever, but I thought it was pretty original and interesting nevertheless. So Maestro was one of those films that made it for me. Another one that was kind of interesting that, again, I just thought this was kind of cool This was Air, and Air was the movie directed by Ben Affleck. Of course, it's got Matt Damon in there. You see Chris Tucker. It's got Marlon Wayans. It's got Viola Davis. And Air is a movie that is basically about. It's not about Michael Jordan, but it's about the Michael Jordan shoe that Nike created. So it's basically, how did Nike come about making one of the most popular sneakers of all time, the most popular brand shoe, and it tells that story. So I know some people were kind of like, how come we don't see MJ in there? I mean, you do, but not really. But it's not about that. It's about these two executives and how they came about getting the shoe and going about that. Because we know everything else, but we just haven't heard that side of the story. Viola Davis, I thought, was fantastic as Mama Jordan. And yeah, it was just really, really interesting to just kind of see the story behind all of that. And I just thought that the writing was pretty decent. I mean, Matt Damon gives like a pretty good speech in there that, like, again, unless you've been living under a rock and you don't know who Michael Jordan is, you can't help but to feel a certain way when you hear him talk about Michael. And it was just definitely, I thought, when Ben Affleck and Matt Damon come together, they do really, really good things. So that was one of those films that was really, really high on my list. Let's see, what else do we have? You know what? Here's another one, and I don't know if you guys, I don't know if it's been released or not yet. I think it is out, but Ava DuVernay has a movie and it's called Origin. And Origin is, whew, man, this is a deep, deep movie. It stars Anjanou Ellis Taylor. You might remember her from King Richard. She does a fantastic performance in this film. You also have Niecy Nash, John Bernthal in here too. This is a tough, tough movie to watch. It does deal with so the movie is based off of the book called Origin, I believe. And it's from a best-selling author. The book basically came out right off the heels of George Floyd of his murder, right? And it entails the Trayvon Martin, killing, and racism in America, and the Indian caste system, and Nazis and the Holocaust. Like it's going to make you question more things about what's really wrong in the world. And while I still kind of have a couple questions, a couple things I would push back on, I thought that, especially being an adaptation of the book, I thought it was a really, really good one in that sense. The acting is phenomenal in this for sure. But let me just kind of give y'all a trigger warning. It is very, very hard to watch. I mean, again, you're dealing with very, very deep, sensitive cultural issues. You're dealing with family loss. So if anyone has recently lost a family member, it might not be something you want to run to go see. But I mean, if you know Ava DuVernay's pedigree, if you've seen Selma 13th, like if you know what she does, this is probably one of her best things that she's made at all. So like, I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was a fantastic film. I kind of wish it would get some awards, but I got a feeling it's not going to get promoted like that, so it probably won't do that. It probably won't get there. But it was definitely one of those films that I really personally enjoyed. Another one to kind of make it a little bit lighter. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3. Like, talk about when the year of comic book movies were kind of lacking, when we was lacking from Ant-Man, we was lacking from Thor 4. James Gunn pulled out Volume 3, and you know what? This was a fun time. This was not bad at all. I definitely thought that this was now I don't have this better. I still think Volume 1 is better, but I do think this was better than Volume 2. So I really enjoyed it. I thought the story with Rocket was definitely, it hit home. I mean, who knew I was gonna feel something for a space raccoon? And then The main villain, the High Evolutionary. Oh man, Chawudi did a fantastic job playing that role. And the character I thought was done, he was done very well, also. So that volume 3 I thought was a nice reminder that comic book movies are not going to go anywhere as long as they're just good. But yeah, Guardians of the Galaxy was absolutely one of my um more appreciated films for 2023. Then to kind of keep the action going. Now you wouldn't have action without John Wick 4. Man, oh man, John Wick 4, that right there was my jam. Keanu can't make like this is his new bread and butter. Okay, let's just be honest. I mean, The Matrix was fantastic. That was the greatest. That was just wonderful. But John Wick, this man has literally with this franchise redefined action movies. We now have new labels in terms of how to describe movies by saying, does it have John Wick action? You know what I'm saying? So like the fact that he was able listen, and this man been part of two things because the Matrix did the same thing. When the Matrix came out, y'all know after the Matrix came out, everybody started doing the slow-mo bullets. Everybody want to do the slow-mo action. Like the Matrix put sci-fi on the map. Okay. And John Wick did the same thing with action films. For a long time, action films was all about just a bunch of guns, dude with big muscles and blowing up explosions and stuff like that. Now, can you just whoop everybody's tail? That's just what John Wick is. Okay. And this man has done his due diligence with this series. I like the way it ended. I like the way it built up. I'm still not over the stairs scene. I ain't never been so, I don't know, anxious with a flight of stairs in my life with anything. Because I was looking at them stairs like, come on, man, what? No! Upstairs got me. But yeah, that was definitely one of my favorite ones. Now I'm gonna shift a little bit to horror. Now I'm not gonna play nothing because I know y'all some scary faces. Okay, I ain't gonna do nothing. I ain't gonna trust me. But what I like, because I am someone who likes horror movies, y'all know I get down with the horror films. Talk to me. I really, really enjoyed this movie. Not because it was the scariest, not because it had the best acting or anything like that. I enjoy this because of the originality behind it. When you watch so many horror movies like I do, they start to feel very cookie cutter. They start to be very predictable. And it's almost like kind of a waste of time because all they want to do is just scare you with cheap jump scares. But talk to me. This did not do that. Like this movie really did do something original and different with something that we already knew. So we've seen demon possession type of movies before, but this time they made it so modern, so realistic. I was just like, yo, this ain't bad. I'm not mad at this. So Talk to Me was definitely one of those films that I had a good time with, that I thought was really, really solid, original, and worth the watch for sure. Let's see. There's another one here. I think we're gonna stick with horror. Again, I ain't gonna mess with y'all scary faces here. Now, this one right here, No One Will Save You. Boy, that right there. Oh, listen. I like this movie. Now, I know the ending was not for everyone. If I'm reviewing it, I'm taking points off the ending because I thought the ending was not tight. I'm not saying I need a happy or a bad ending. I'm not saying that. I'm just saying there were more questions and not in a good way. However, take the ending aside. Forget the ending. This movie had me pressed. Okay. This movie had me pressed the entire time because I was just sitting here like, wait a minute now. What y'all finna do with these creatures? What are y'all doing? This stuff was like terrifying. Like when I tell you, if you've ever had a fear, I guess it's a mild spoiler, but if you've ever been scared of aliens, you ain't been scared until you watch this. This right here is the best I've seen them take aliens and make them terrifying. Like all of the listen, that little alien, woo! When he got on the house, woo, 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 and the car, woo, the basement, woo, woo. Listen, I enjoyed the mess out of this. This was fantastic. And to top all that off, they said maybe like 7 words in this whole movie. No words were really spoken. They I'm sorry. Like I think that was like just one of the lines. That was about it. But this was creative. It was exciting. It had my nerves up, but I definitely enjoyed no one will save you. That was good. Again, the ending, I get it. Not for everybody. I get that, but that was a good solid film. Another one, and this one just came out. This is probably going to be up there for awards contention. American Fiction. Now, I have told y'all this for a while, and I'll say it again. Jeffrey Wright is one of our best actors out there. This guy is just the epitome of when it comes to range. He will, I mean, listen, don't forget, this guy was y'all remember Shaft? My man Peoples, that was him. Okay, that was my man Peoples back then, right? So he's come a long way. In other words, he's come a long way. But this movie was so original and so different that I really enjoyed it. So if you ever watch something like Sorry to Bother You, where it kind of makes a sort of satire comedy type of thing, except for no horses in this one like that. But this was along those lines, but I think it stuck the landing, and I think that overall the film was just brilliant. So for those of you that don't know, American Fiction basically deals with this author who he is, obviously a black author, but he does not cater to his work to be black. In other words, he'll write about stuff, but it's not about the black struggle or anything like that. And he's sitting here wondering, like, yo, how come my books don't sell? How come don't nobody want to buy my books? And then next thing you know, you got Issa Rae, her character. She's writing in a very culturally thick, way of black writing. We went to the store and we be going out, blah, blah, blah. Like she wrote her book like that, and people love it. She's making all this money, all this attention. She's getting all these like people love it. So Jeffrey's character is like, oh, that's what y'all like? Y'all want me to just basically, be Mr. Bojangles with the whole little writing and stuff? Cool. So he writes this book that basically walks in those same footsteps, and it also becomes successful. But now the whole thing is, what do you do? Do you keep up this charade? Do you like tell people, nah, it was all a joke? What happened? So the whole story is hilarious, but at the same time, they also like it has humor in it, but it also has like a tenderness to it. I mean, you got Erica Alexander here. I really enjoyed her character too. Because you're also following this guy who has a lot of issues. Besides the whole black thing, but he has his own issues, his own insecurities. He's got his own family drama that he has to deal with. So I thought that was a really solid film. Just overall, especially with the commentary that it has to make when it comes to the consumption of black culture. I thought it was very, very on point. So American Fiction, definitely something I would highly recommend. Definitely loved it. I think one of the best movies of the year, and I don't even care if it's animated, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. My goodness, this movie right here really put my faith into the fact that yeah, we can have comic book movies that can still blow you all the way away. And that's exactly what Across the Spider-Verse did for me. This movie I already liked Into the Spider-Verse. I thought that was already I thought Into the Spider-Verse was in the conversation for one of the best Spider-Man movies. I thought it was, because I still had Spider-Man 2 with the GOAT, Tobey Maguire, up there, and I still had No Way Home in there as well. So for me, it was kind of like a three-way conversation of like, Into the Spider-Verse, No Way Home. I don't know. But Across the Spider-Verse, in my opinion, that is the best Spider-Man movie, because it literally did everything else that those other three movies tried to do and then some. It took the whole idea of an original character with Miles Morales, just like Into the Spider-Verse. It took the heroic nature of what makes Spider-Man, just like Spider-Man 2 did, it took the multiverse concept and ran with it. Just when everybody was like, I'm tired of the multiverse, to multiverse this, multiverse that. Listen, I'm not complaining when you taking all them Spider-Men and women and you actually do a good job with it. Again, this is why I keep telling y'all, it's not the fact that we getting so many of these movies and they're all doing the same thing. It's because sometimes these things are not written or executed well. You're tired of bad stuff, not of good stuff. And Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse was great stuff. The fact that we actually got this man to dig deep into what it means to even be Spider-Man, canon events, identity issues. This is what superheroes were created for. Not only were they meant to be role models for little kids and stuff, but they were created to deal with a lot of the thematic issues that we have in life that sometimes we not built to deal with. And he did it. Nah, I'm going to go do my own thing. Go ahead, Miles. That's what I'm talking about. This movie right here should have absolutely been, and I hope it does, it should be nominated for Best Movie of the Year. I'm not saying it should win, but it should be in the conversation, not just best animated. It should win that hands down, but it should be in the conversation, at least for being nominated for Best Movie of the Year at the Oscars. So that was it. Now, one other movie that climbed up my list very fast in a short fashion, and I had no idea this was going to be so good. No idea. The Color Purple. I was blown all the way with this movie. I saw the original movie, the 85 movie or whatever. And trust me, that's like a staple in Black culture, right? Like, everybody and their mama seen The Color Purple at some point, and you're talking about historic and memorable legendary roles played by Whoopi Goldberg, Oprah Winfrey, Danny Glover. Like the characters are iconic. Everybody, you got the three fingers cuss, and all that stuff till you do right by me. Like you got a whole lot of things that Harpo, who is this woman? You got a whole lot of stuff from just this little IP, right? From that came from the book. But this movie was not based directly from the book, and it was not based off of the movie. It was actually based off of the Broadway play. So the play, was more of a musical, and therefore this movie was also a musical. Now, I'll be the first to tell y'all, I don't be checking for musicals like that. That's not my jam. I could count on one hand how many musicals I've seen and actually have really liked. And this is definitely one of them, because this movie right here takes you through the emotional roller coaster. Woo, we go through it with Celie. Woo, we go through it with her. I mean, Coleman Domingo, shout out to that man. That brother is phenomenal as an actor. He plays Mr. and he does it very well. Taraji P. Henson as Suge. Oh my gosh, she's been trying to tell y'all she's talented, and she is talented. Corey Hawkins is Harpo. Her was wasted. Okay, you can't have a beautiful voice like her and you just gonna let her just say like 2-3 lines and sing one, like half a bar, a quarter of a bar of a song like that to me was a little disrespectful. Now Sierra was in there too, but she was also pregnant. So I get okay, that's fine. But I'm just saying, if you're gonna have her in there, have that girl do a whole solo. But um Danielle, woo Danielle as Sophia. Yo, Danielle Brooks, that's her right there next to Fantasia. By the way, Fantasia was fantastic. Fantasia was great. She did her thing. Danielle stole that for me. As Sophia, she stole, hell no, she stole that show for me. She played the role that Oprah played in the other film, but my God, that the thing that I think really took this over the edge for me was I saw this in a theater twice, and I saw it with other folks, right? Predominantly black folks. And it would be something that I would encourage people to do. So if you're not black, I don't care what color, whatever race you are, if you're not black, if you can watch this movie in a theater with other black folks, I feel like that is when the full experience of what this movie can do will be communicated. Because if you watch this streaming at home and you don't get all the references, there's going to be some things that are going to be missed. If you are, like there were certain things that listen, my theater was interactive. We was yelling, we was screaming, we was laughing, we was crying, we was praising, we was doing that. Talk about a communal experience. That's what The Color Purple gave. And this is basically what you want movies to do. You want movies to be something. I mean, this is why you go to theaters. This is again why I told y'all theaters ain't going nowhere, because when you have a communal experience like this, the only other two movies that remind me of a similar experience, not the same but similar, would be Avengers Endgame, because when Cap grabbed that hammer, everybody was like, "What?" Right? And the only other one I could think of was I could think of another one. Hangover. I saw The Hangover for the first time in theaters. That movie, everybody was in stitches. We was busting a whole gut. I'm laughing with people that I ain't never think I was even gonna talk to in my life. We all had a good time. And A Quiet Place. You guys tell me, when A Quiet Place came out, and if you went to go to the theaters, did anybody make a sound? Did anybody even touch their popcorn? Did anybody go through their little candy bag? Didn't nobody make a peep during A Quiet Place? Because when they said it needed to be quiet, it was quiet. And that was the communal experience that A Color Purple kind of gave to me when I went to go see it. And that put it out there. I was just 100% with it. So that was definitely one of the best movies, in my opinion, of the year as well. And that kind of, let's see, I think that wraps up all of them. Yes, I did it. So that wraps up all the movies for 2023 that I really had a good time with. If you enjoyed any of those movies, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. If there are movies that maybe didn't make my list, because I could only talk about so many, please feel free to let me know in the comments which ones did you enjoy in the year 2023. All right. I think I got some comments here. Okay, all right. Let's see. Taz, what you got? Every show you gave me was fired. Thanks from the 313. Oh, thank you so much, Taz. I appreciate that. And that's such a wonderful contribution. Thank you so much for holding the channel down. I really, really do appreciate it. And I hope you enjoy all those recommendations as well. My man Jay, what is up? Thank you so much. Happy New Year. Right back to you and yours. Rabia, thank you so much. Wait a minute. Now I told you I'll be reading the comments. Now, Rabia, please tell me if I'm correct me if I'm wrong. I think you said you had a birthday, but this was in December, and I saw you were looking for a shout out, little quick happy birthday. So, I try my best to keep up with what I can, so let me happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, Rabia. Happy belated birthday to you. and many more. Congratulations. I hope you had a great time. I'm sorry I'm a little late with it, holidays, all that. But yeah, I do hope that you had a good time. And thank you so much for continuously holding down the channel the way that you do. I really, really do appreciate you. Let's see, Anthony, what you got? I remember hearing the guy who played the villain in Guardians of the Galaxy got death threats from extreme animal rights people. I guess he did his job well. How sad. That is super sad. You got death threats for fiction. Did they not know it was fiction? This was not based on real life. That is stupid. That's not even sad. That's just stupid. Man, please. I'd laugh at all those people. I would, man, shut up. What kind of nonsense is that? Oh, how dare you experiment on space animals that are not real? What? Shut up. Anyway, Mambo, what you got? I saw Color Purple in NYC and it wasn't so quiet. No, it's not quiet. It's not quiet at all. But like, again, it's that communal experience. It's that shared experience of everybody coming together, again, laughing, crying, doing whatever. Like that is absolutely my favorite part about it. So yeah, for sure. All right, let's see. What do we have? So now we did 2023. Now let's move on to 2024. Hold on. All right, let's move on to 2024. So these are my top shows that I'm looking forward to. Now, I wouldn't say highly anticipating because there are some shows that I'm kind of like, I just kind of want to see where y'all going with it. But there's some shows here that I am looking forward to that are coming in 2024. And so one of the shows, and I'm not going to say this is my highly anticipated one. This is probably going to be the one that I'm more curious about, and that is The Penguin. That is going to be coming on HBO Max. This is going to be a spinoff show based off of The Batman. This is the one with Robert Pattinson's Batman, created by Matt Reeves. He's having his own little universe, right? So this is not going to be part of the main DCU. This is outside of the DCU. This is the Elseworld stuff. But Matt Reeves supposedly was going to be doing, not only is he doing this with Colin Farrell, and by the way, look at Colin Farrell. This you can't even recognize this dude. Shout out to the makeup team here. But this is going to be a show about his rise to power, right? Like how the Penguin got to be the new crime boss, blah, 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 stuff like that. And I'm curious about this. I'm interested because I like what Matt Reeves was doing by trying to ground the Batman series that he's creating. And I'll be very honest, and I've said this before too, I don't care about the Penguin, like the character, the overall character. I think Batman has some of the weakest rogue galleries compared to other superheroes and other heroes out there. I don't care about the Riddler. I don't care about Two-Face. I don't care about like some of these characters. I just don't care about. Now, Joker, that's a different story. Penguin, I definitely don't care about. But I am curious to see what they do with him. Are you going to make, because you're making a whole show about him, are you going to put us in a compromising position where maybe we root for him because he's the main guy? Are we going to feel empathetic for him? Are we going to hate this guy? I'm curious to see what Matt Reeves wants to do with this character to make us care about him, whether we hate him or not. So that's where I am with that for the Penguin. Let's see, another one that I'm looking forward to. Now, this is also more so curiosity, but I'm looking at this on Netflix. And Avatar, the Airbender, we got a new Avatar series coming out, and I am very, very curious about this. Now, here's the thing. The Avatar animated series is one of the best things that have made television. Like, that was phenomenal storytelling, phenomenal character building and development for even the side characters. Okay, but the casting for this looks great. The Netflix series so far, you have One Piece. I haven't watched it, but I hear it's really good. So far, it seems like Netflix is getting it right when they're adapting live action. Now, they had a bad track record because they did that The gosh, Death Note, trash, terrible, gutter booty trash. That should have never been touched. But it seems like Netflix is finally getting their footing together, and they starting to get it. And Avatar, at least again, from the casting, from the pictures, from the trailer, looks solid. Now, to also be fair, we saw the trailer for the last Avatar movie that got a whole bunch of people still scarred from, when was that, early 2000s or whatever? That M. Night Shyamalan, the Avatar movie. That trailer looked good too back then. And we got scarred. We got hurt. We got traumatized. But I'm like I said, I'm curious. I want to see what they do with it. And we'll see if it lives up to the hype. We'll see. But Avatar is definitely something that I'm looking forward to. I believe that comes out on Netflix February 22nd, something like that. So that will be something to check out. Let's see, what other live action do we have? Oh, so I already talked about season 4. We got to talk about season 5. I cannot wait to see what the hell Joe's gonna do in season 5 of You. Yes, once again, we are going back to the Netflix series You, that is going to be on Netflix, and I am absolutely looking forward to this. I have been loving this show, as I mentioned before, for 2023 last season, and I am definitely interested in seeing where do they take this now, because where they left off on season 4, I'm like, oh Joe, you a problem. Like, bro, you're a whole problem. Like, and they're saying that this is going to be the final season. And I've told y'all this before. I love it when we get shows that actually have a definitive end, because that means y'all not trying to hit us with fillers. Y'all actually have a story with a beginning, middle, and an end. So season 5, which I think is a great sweet spot for most shows to end, they are ending this series, and I can't wait. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what he's gonna do. I know he gonna be a problem, and I know, well, I won't spoil it, but the situation he's in now, like, I just don't know where they're gonna go with this. So I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. Season 5 of You. That is definitely gonna get my attention. Now, here's something else. Now, we've talked about this a little bit on the show before, and that is Daredevil Born Again. Now, Daredevil Born Again is definitely something I'm looking forward to, mainly because we know where Daredevil left off, and that's probably one of the best shows from Marvel, even though the Netflix show that was not a product of Marvel Studios. That was a product of Marvel TV, Marvel Entertainment. So this is the first time that Daredevil will have his own series under the Marvel Studios official brand. So all the stuff we saw in Netflix doesn't count, but I guess you could say it lives in a multiverse, whatever. But this is the first time that we're going to see it under Marvel Studios direction. Now, that comes with a lot of expectation and a lot of pressure, because like I said, this had to have been one of the Netflix series was one of the best things that has a label of Marvel on it for a TV show. And the fact that they gave us a hallway scene, and the hallway scene, you already know what I'm talking about. Other shows, other movies have adapted hallway scene fights because of that Netflix show. Listen, this show right here, Born Again, oh, you got a lot to live up to. You have to keep the basic assignment for this show is to keep that same energy. Don't come in here with all that Marvel fun nonsense, funny, ha. We taking a walk of shame because we smashed the She-Hulk smash. Nah, we ain't doing all that. You gotta come with the same pressure. You gotta come with that same energy that the Netflix show did. Because honestly, if you can't do that, it's probably gonna be a fail. And that's only because of the expectations that have been built up. So I'm looking forward to this, because we also got the creatives, even though Marvel messed up with this show, and they had all these different things where Daredevil didn't even show up until 4 episodes later in his costume and stuff like that. We did hear some good news that they grabbed the creators from the other Netflix series, Punisher, and they brought them on here for this show. Now, I don't know why they didn't just grab the people from the other Netflix show, but whatever. This right here definitely has my attention. I'm not going to get too excited for it, but I am going to be looking forward to seeing if it can live up to the hype, if at all. Let's see. Oh, we talked about this one. And y'all, when I tell you there's gonna be hell to pay. Because House of the Dragon, ooh, somebody finna get burnt. Somebody, they coming for blood. Somebody is coming out. They not playing. Okay, now we covered this show too when it came out. And I have to say, this also blew my expectations because I was not expecting for House of the Dragon to be as good as Game of Thrones. And it was, in my opinion. I thought it was definitely worth it. We had some great performances. We had some shocking developments. We we had some twists and turns with this show. Some dragon on dragon action. But the way they left off on season 1 with that big moment at the end. Listen, everybody getting Dracaristed, okay? Everybody's gonna get Dracaristed out in this next season. It's going down, okay? Ain't nobody coming out alive. I don't see it happening, but I cannot wait. This is one of those shows that was actually not affected by the writer's strike or the actor's strike because they shoot in England. They're under different unions. So I believe this is coming out in early 2024, maybe in the summer, maybe in the spring, something like that. But either way, I cannot wait for this. We will absolutely cover every single episode. But House of the Dragon is absolutely that's listen, it's them dragons, y'all. That's a show I cannot wait for sure. Next up, listen, we already talked about Gen V. So of course, we got to talk about The Boys season 4. Yes, y'all, this has definitely been, first of all, this is probably one of the best shows on Amazon Prime. And even outside of that, it's probably one of the best shows just out there in general. The Boys is such a fantastic series based off of the comic book. But it is definitely something I cannot wait to see. And the way Gen V set it up was perfect as well. I got questions, I need answers, and so far, the Boys they've never disappointed. Like I can't think of a time when the Boys came out and I was just like, meh. It's like every episode be hitting, every season was hitting. It's just great stuff. I don't know. It seems like a lot of pressure to keep up that same pace, but they do it. They do it, and they have not disappointed. So I am totally looking forward to The Boys season 4. Cannot wait for that. And that is definitely going to be on my radar. Last but not least, and of course, this is like a no-brainer because I already told y'all I was all in for season 1. I was all in for season 2. You better believe coming right back at you. I'm in for season 3 of From. Yes, it finally got greenlit. They are shooting as we speak, and I cannot wait because I got questions. And I need them to give me some answers. Now, I got the feeling that they're not going to give me no answers that I need, but I think we are going to get some more. And we're going to have some more problems because they keep talking about like, yo, this is just the beginning. Yo, all the stuff you seeing, it's just there's more out there. There's crazier stuff out there. I need to know why, how, why for come. Like, what are we doing here? How did we get here? But anyway, y'all already know I've covered From. I have some theory videos that are coming out for that right before the series comes out because I know people gonna need to do a refresher. So I'm gonna do some theory videos. By the way, I'm gonna do a video on the fact that they already spoiled season 3 for y'all, and they already answered some questions, and y'all didn't even realize it. But we will go over all of that later. But From season 3, absolutely top of my list of one of those things I have got to see. So when it comes to the live action 2024 TV shows. What are you looking forward to? You guys, please let me know in the comments down below. Right. Let's see. Hold on. Let me adjust my list here. There we go. All right, got that. All right. Let's see. Diddy, what you got? Godzilla -1 was the top movie for me this year. You know what? I should have added that. I was getting it's just so many things I could add to the list, but absolutely. And that I should have added that to the list. That right there was one of the best movies that came in last minute under the radar. And I was totally gonna ignore it. If it was not from one of my friends that was like, man, come on, man, let's just go watch it in IMAX. I was like, man, we ain't got nothing to do. Fine, let's go. Great. Great film. I knew I forgot some. There's too many movies. I knew I was gonna forget one, but Godzilla -1 was absolutely one that should have been up there. Thank you so much. Mamba, what you got? My only problem with Color Purple as a musician that played on film is that besides the song that was in the original, the music wasn't, period. Well, I think they had a couple original songs in there, like the one by Halle Bailey. I think that was the original one. But listen, I'm not an expert at none of this. I'll let you. I know you out there with your musical genius and all that, bro. I've seen you do your thing. But yeah, I'll leave that to you. I'll defer that to you. But I get it. I get it. From the most musical anything I ever did was play in concert band, back in grade school. So that was a long time ago. No, I was in marching band too. Dang, I think I did that for like half a semester in high school. Anyway, let's see. Anthony, Yu Yu Hakusho on Netflix is my biggest disappointment from last year. The streak is not broken. Yo, it was bad. I didn't watch it yet. I didn't know. Like, I was thinking about it, but I was kind of waiting to see if people would talk about it. And I haven't heard nobody say nothing. So I'm dang, it might not be that great. Ooh, might not be that great. We'll see. Thank you so much. Tracy, what you got? Late to the party tonight. Glad you showed my fave, the bear, some love. Don't sleep on episode 7 where listen, Richie stages and Olivia Colman cameos. Happy New Year. Listen, episode 6 was my favorite. Episode 7 was an excellent follow-up. Excellent follow-up. I loved both of those episodes. So you are not wrong. That was absolutely solid. Thank you so much, Tracy. I appreciate you. Let's see, Anthony. First look at Daredevil versus Echo is on YouTube from the show Echo. Reminded me of the hallway fights. When you see the clip, you'll know why. I am not going to watch the clips because I'm just going to watch everything when it comes out. So, because I believe Echo comes out all at once. So yeah, I mean, I'm already sold on watching it to see what it has. I'm not watching no clips. I don't like. Listen, I told y'all, I'll watch the first teaser trailer or something, and the job of that teaser or that trailer is to get me interested. If you got me interested, don't show me nothing else. Because if you show me something else, now I'm gonna say, okay, if you show me this, what else are you gonna show me in the show to impress me? I told y'all, watching clips and stuff, that's like getting full off them breadsticks at Olive Garden. You know what I'm saying? Because when you eat all them sticks, you be not a main meal, and you're like, man, I'm kind of full. Like, man, maybe this meal wasn't all that, because you done ate too much bread, so I'm good on that. But I'll take your word for it. I will take your word for it that it was probably something solid. Quiet one, what you got? Did you check out Rings of Power season 1? Or are you looking forward to season 2? So, yes, I did watch Rings of Power season 1. I struggled with it at first. The first time I was watching, because here's the thing, I read all the Lord of the Ring books when I was a kid. So I was always a fan of The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings. I watched the original trilogy when it came out, the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I liked it, even though at the time I didn't like a lot of the creative liberties that Peter Jackson did. So, for example, the reveal of Aragorn, I didn't like that because when I was reading the book, that was one of the best surprises in the book. I was like, yo, really? That was him the whole time? Like, and I felt like the movie just kind of gave up that whole surprise. So I didn't like that. But um because of the Ring of Power, it did like I stopped maybe like halfway through, and something happened where I was just like, you know what, let me just finish it. I'm almost done with it. It was getting kind of boring for me. And then we got to the end, and the end had the big reveal. I'm not gonna spoil it, but they had the big reveal, and I was like, yo, that was a good one. So because of that reveal, what ended up happening was I started going down a deep rabbit hole of watching and reading everything and anything deep about the mythology and the lore when it came to everything Lord of Rings. Like, I mean, I consumed so much content just because I wanted to know, like, yo, where did Gandalf come from? Yo, there are other wizards besides Gandalf, and like, do y'all know about the blue wizards? You know, like there was all these different things that I was trying to learn, and like, where did this person come? Wait, who is the king of the witches, or the king witch king, or whatever? Like, who are these people? It was all these things I got interested in, and because of that, yes, I'm interested in season two, but it's not going to be like the number one thing that I'm super excited about. But will I watch it? Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you so much, Quiet One. I appreciate you. Al, what you got to leave? Isn't season 5 of Stranger Things coming next year? So I didn't, I think it is. I forgot whether it was delayed or not. But if it is coming to 2024, then that should absolutely be on the list for sure. Matter of fact, I should have added Wednesday too, because I want to see Wednesday as well. Listen, I tried to put the list together, guys. There's a lot of stuff. It's just a lot of stuff. Okay, but this is why y'all are here, and this is why y'all are so helpful, because you can remind the brother when he forgets some things. So I appreciate y'all. All right, actually, now, because somebody else asked about this. Somebody wanted to know about some of the um uh somebody asked about the top animated shows that I'm looking forward to. So I do want to kind of these are also TV shows, but I do kind of want to go through a couple of these for some folks. So these are some shows, some of them you've heard of, some of them maybe you haven't. But these are just a couple of shows that I am looking forward to, that I definitely will have on my radar one way or another. Now, let's see. One of them. Now, we only saw like a little trailer for this one. And by the way, most of these are on Netflix. Netflix is coming through with a lot of heat when it comes to animated stuff. And one of the shows that I'm looking forward to is Tomb Raider. This is Tomb Raider, Legend of Lara Croft. And this is going to be something that is coming to Netflix. I want to say early 2024. Don't quote me on that. But I am definitely looking forward to it. I like the animation style. That looked pretty solid. And I'm a sucker for these things anyway. Like whenever you give me something that's a video game adaptation, maybe it's good, maybe it's not. I don't really know, but you're going to have my attention and I'm going to check it out regardless. So that is something I am going to be looking forward to on Netflix when it does eventually come out. Let's see, another one, and this is also another video game adaptation. Now, I have not played the games, don't judge me, but I've always respected the fact that these have been considered one of the best games, and that is Devil May Cry. They are doing again on Netflix, they're doing an adaptation of Devil May Cry. I believe this is coming from the same people that have done Castlevania. I think, don't quote me on that. But either way, I am excited to see what that has entailed for us. So I am looking forward to Devil May Cry on Netflix. Listen, if you ever want to throw in vampires and demons and animation, I'm all in 100%. So that is something else I'm looking forward to. Dang, I guess we just gonna keep it with Netflix. Here's something that I don't know if y'all watch this. I haven't really talked about it, but I have loved this stuff regardless, and that is Oh, let me go ahead and take that off. Hold on one second. Blood of Zeus. There we go. Blood of Zeus. That is another series that is on Netflix. Now, I have watched season one. And the thing is, I was only interested because um I'm a nerd for Greek mythology. I mean, y'all know my whole seminary background and stuff like that, but I've also liked other mythologies and stuff too. Norse mythology, Greek mythology, all of these things have always been fascinating to me. So, when I saw Blood of Zeus, I was like, "Oh, okay." Like Greek mythology and very similar animation style to Castlevania. Like, yeah, let's go. Like, I'm all in, right? So that was definitely something that I thought they forgot about because I did not see any type of um promotion or anything for it. But yo, I cannot wait. I am looking forward to it. And I think that it is going to be pretty solid one way or another. But I am definitely here for Devil May Cry. What else? Let's see. Oh yeah, we gotta stick with the Netflix heat, because I told y'all Netflix is not they're not playing with y'all when it comes to animation. They're not playing. And I already mentioned it already, but Castlevania, like yo, Castlevania is probably one of my favorite animated TV shows out there. Like, I never played the games, but this made me want to. Like this made me want to really consider playing the games because these shows from the very beginning have been on point. When I tell you, like, why won't they leave Dracula alone? Like, ever since I started watching this series, I'm like, Dracula is the definition of F around and find out. And he told y'all, just leave me be. And they never leave this man alone. They never do. And all he did was like, I bet I'm gonna terrorize y'all for seasons, not a show, not for seasons. And fast forward to the Nocturne series, because now they left us, like, I think with like one half. So we only got the first half of this, and we're gonna get the second half. I believe it comes out in 2024. But I am absolutely here for it. I love, come on now, they got a Haitian sister in there. Of course, I'm gonna go watch that. And they speaking real Creole too. I'm sitting here like, okay, suck passe. Okay, I hear you now. Let's go. So yeah, I am here for it. You got black folks with the Haitian Revolution. You got vampires. You got the French Revolution going. I'm here for every ounce of this. So yeah, I am. And the way they ended, the way they left off, yeah, yeah. I'm not gonna say who came back, but y'all already know if you've seen it. So I am down for that. Another top show. Now, again, never played this. No, I didn't know anything about this. But y'all, Arcane is one of those shows that I really, really enjoyed. And they are doing a season 2, and I could not be any happier. Like, Arcane, I had no idea what to expect with this show. I just saw it. I was like, all right, let me see what it's about. The second I turned it on, I found myself compelled. I found myself watching every episode, like, just with intense anticipation of what was going to happen next. I started getting attached to the characters. Matter of fact, when season 2 come out, I think I'm gonna go and rewatch season 1 all over again because it's been a while. But that was a show I like the animation style, which is one that I usually don't gravitate to. But Arcane was such a good show that now I'm like, yeah, I have to watch season 2. Like, I cannot wait but to see season 2. So I am here for that. Now another show that's coming out, I think it comes out in 2024, so bear with me if it doesn't. But this is gonna be a Disney Plus show, and it's called Eyes of Wakanda. Now, we've kind of talked about this before. This is a show that basically it seems as though it's going to deal with other Black Panthers, or maybe other Wakanda heroes. Maybe they won't even have a Black Panther in there. Who knows? But I mean, y'all see it? Like, at the end of the day, I'm a Black Panther Wakanda fan, regardless. I would hope, I hope that this is not a show that focuses on the mantle and not on the characters, because I've tried to be very clear about this, that I have no problem if we look at other Black Panthers. My issue has always been we need to spend the time with the characters or else we will not care about them. And because I value and cherish and appreciate the world and the IP behind Wakanda and the Black Panther, I don't want it to feel cheap by just looking at, oh, there's a Black Panther, oh, there's a Black Panther, oh, there's a Black Panther, and then you just don't care. No one's special if they just all have the mantles, right? So that's my hope, that they don't go that route. So this is not something I'm super highly anticipating, but it is something that I'm curious about, and I want to see what they do with it, where they go with it. So I'm just gonna kind of keep an eye out for it. That's pretty much it. Now this one kind of cheats because I should have included this in 2023, but it got broken in half. So I kind of said I'll just wait for it to anticipate for 2024. And that's Invincible season 2. Invincible is also one of those Amazon shows that really has not missed. Just like The Boys, it has not missed. And this has been from the same creator, too, by the way. But this has been a welcome treat. I absolutely loved season 1 of Invincible. I mean, you still can't get that train scene out your head. But this series is off to a great start with season 2. One of the things that it's definitely left you off with a huge setup of what's to come. And I think that they're going to do a very, very good job with the final episodes. I think they will. But I like what they did with it. I like where they're going with it. I like the character development and the exploration with Mark's character. So that is definitely something I'm looking forward to. And last but not least, and this would be a betrayal of my entire childhood if I did not bring this up. This is also coming to Disney Plus, and it's coming by Marvel Studios. But y'all, we about to get X-Men 97. Yes, it is a continuation from one of the GOAT animated TV shows, and that is the animated X-Men series that used to be on Fox. Boy, your boy used to go. Your boy used to watch this immediately after school. I used to power walk straight from school. You know what I'm saying? Just because I was a fat kid, so I couldn't run. So I just power walked straight to school because I had to get home by 3:30, 3:45, so I could watch me Power Rangers and X-Men. Ooh, what a time. Come on now. You know the original theme song. Okay. And let me tell you something. They better not remix it. They better keep that theme song the same as it was. Don't mess with a classic. Man. But yes, I am looking forward to this. Supposedly, this will pick up right after the original series. As you see, everybody's still in their same costumes and all of that good stuff. Now, there is one difference. I think they said something like Professor X might not be there for whatever reason. They're saying that Magneto is the one that's actually leading them now. So there's going to be some differences there. But what's interesting about this, and what has me more interested or anticipating this, is the fact that this is going to be within the MCU. In other words, what you see happen in this animated series is going to be part of whatever the MCU is going to do. Now, I mean, the Marvels has been out for a minute, so I don't know. Maybe people, okay, spoiler alert, somebody from this franchise shows up in the Marvels. Take that for whatever. But maybe the person that shows up in the Marvels, maybe this X-Men series will continue that story or give us more feedback into that. I don't know, but So it's possible that maybe, in this animated series that they are from a different universe, or something like that. But either way, I'm just happy because again, this was one of the best shows that they had. And I am definitely looking forward to that the moment it comes out. Okay, I think that is my list for top animated shows that are coming out in 2024. What on this list are you looking forward to? Did I miss anything? If I did, or if you have any other thoughts, please feel free to let me know in the comments down below. All right. Let's see. Leave what you got. Question: how do you decide what to cover on the channel? There's so much, specifically when you take in all the avenues that are producing content. So that's an interesting question. Uh, one, I think that, and maybe this is a tip for other people that want to get into content creation or whatever. Um, if I don't feel it, I'm not gonna talk about it, and I'm talking about like feel it in one way or another. Y'all know I do not like being one-sided emotionally. I'm not gonna be the guy that trashes on everything because it's clickbaity. I'm not gonna be the guy that loves everything because I don't want to ruffle any feathers. No, if your stuff stank, I'm gonna tell you it stank. And if it's great, I'm gonna tell you it's great. And I'm gonna go in on it, right? So I think that it would be a disservice to all of you guys that are watching if I sit here and talk about something that I'm not feeling, right? Because not trying to brag or nothing, but y'all coming to watch me, right? So if you're coming to watch me, the least I can do is give you 100% of me, right? I'm not gonna fake it. I'm not gonna, half step it or nothing. So I go by feel. If there's something that I'm looking at, if there's something that catches my attention, because keep in mind, even when we do the movie news, there's so much stuff that happens, and I'm like, I don't care about that. I don't care about that. Oh, I want to talk about that. That's how I go about things. So usually I go by that. And a lot of these topics, by the way, and shout out to you too, Alib. These came from y'all because I ain't gonna lie to you. I was finna save them 9 realms tonight. This is my last day off before I go back to work. I was not gonna sit here and be on this live and do all this research and all this homework, and I wasn't gonna do this. But and shout out to the wife, shout out to Mrs. E-Man. She was like, you should do a top something, the best shows, best movies. And then I saw a lot of y'all responded when I asked y'all what y'all wanted me to talk about. So sometimes it's user driven, a lot of times it's what I feel and what I connect with. And that's usually how I go about making my decisions. So I hope that answered the question. But thank you so much, Ali. Appreciate you. All right, let's see. We got 2 more things to go over. I'm gonna give y'all some of my top movies that I'm looking forward to, and then we're gonna talk all about What If season 2. I'm gonna give y'all my semi breakdown, semi review. So when it comes to the 2024 anticipated movies, I've got a couple films here that again, maybe you've heard of, maybe you haven't. But either way, these are films that I'm looking forward to, that I cannot wait till we get a chance to see. And yeah, that is definitely going to be something that we have to check out. Hold on one second. Where's my stuff here? Okay, there it is. All right, hold on. I'm gonna make sure I got everything here. Okay, I think we're good. Okay, so let's see. Which one should we start with? Nah, y'all don't want to talk about that. Nah, okay. You know what? We could do this one. So Kingsley Ben-Adir is going to be starring as the legendary Bob Marley in the biopic called One Love. This is again the story of like basically his life, probably his death as well. But I will say that I am looking forward to it. I think Kingsley is a fantastic actor. The guy really does a good job. You probably remember him from Secret Invasion as the Skrull Overlord guy. And he was also one of the Kens in Barbie. But the guy is phenomenal as an actor. I loved him in One Night in Miami. He played Malcolm X, and he does a very, very good job. Like the fact that he's British and he can do the American accent. And now he's about to do Bob Marley with the whole Jamaican accent. And I'm like, yo, like brother's got that is what you call range. I keep telling y'all when you think about range, you think about when people can be characters that are completely different in something else, not on paper, but visually. Like what they actually present to you feels like a different person. So One Love is definitely something I'm looking forward to in 2024. Let's see. Another one is going to be Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes. Now, I enjoyed the previous trilogy. I was all in from the moment Caesar was like, no, and when he was whispering in old boy's ears, like, hey, man, I need a pack of cigarettes or whatever he said to him. I don't know what he said, but it doesn't matter. That right there kicked it off. And now I was way more invested in Planet of the Apes. Now, I really liked Matt Reeves as the director, and I thought he made those films really good. So I am a little cautious because I'm not really sure if when you bring a new director in, if it's going to be, in the same line, if it's going to have the same energy. I don't know, but it is something that I am looking forward to nonetheless. So I am interested to see where they go with it. I think they said that it takes place 300 years after Caesar, so like the apes have definitely developed. They've got their own little societies, kingdoms. Humans are like barely existing at this point. So I'm looking forward to see where they go with that. Let's see another one that maybe some of y'all might have forgot about, but A Quiet Place. And this is not a sequel. I want to say this is actually going to be a prequel. It is A Quiet Place Day One. And this one is going to star Lupita Nyong'o. So she is going to be in it. Of course, Lupita is like fantastic as an actress. So that right there is already a great selling point for me. Um, but I am absolutely looking forward to her doing it. I thought what John Krasinski did with the first two Quiet Place movies was great. Now the first one, I don't think anything can top that. Um, it was a little unfortunate that he felt probably more so forced to do the second one because the first one just did so well that the studio was like, nah, we need that second one, boss. We need you to come up off that right now. So I'm not a fan of that because when you do that, it forces the creator to kind of come from an inauthentic place. And not to say that Quiet Place 2 was bad. I still thought it was good, but it just couldn't live up to what the first one did for me. So now this one, this third one, Day One, I believe it's being directed by Jeff Nichols. He did another movie called Midnight Special. I did like it. I wouldn't say that his movies are like they don't blow me away, but I do like them generally. So like I'm okay with it. I'm interested to see where they go with it. But again, you had me at Lupita, so I'm here for it, right? Then another one. Now this was a little bit of a surprise. We did not, I didn't think, I honestly did not think I was going to care about this movie whatsoever. I've already told y'all I like horror movies. And one horror movie that kind of got me, and it was so basic, it was so simple, was Smile. And now we got Smile Part 2 coming. And I have to say, Smile is definitely something I want to see. What the hell are y'all going to do with this right here? Because the first movie, it was different. Listen, that ending was extra. They got very extra with that ending. But I liked what they did with it, and it reminded me of the movie It Follows, which is another original horror movie. And I thought that they did a really good job with this one. Like this, just the concept of it was very interesting. So I want to see what they do with this sequel, how they go about it. And that is definitely going to have my attention for sure. Now another movie that we talked about before, I think we even saw the trailer for this, and I don't even know if it's curiosity, but I definitely want to see what they do with this. And that is Civil War. Civil War is that movie that is coming from A24. And it basically takes a look at America. And I don't know where the divide happens. I don't know how it happens, but this is what I'm interested in. um, for whatever reason, America's political ideologies have pushed us to a civil war. Now, I know some people kind of lightly want to toss that out there, but I feel like sometimes we need these movies to kind of like ring a bell and let people know, nah, this could be a problem. Let me tell you something. To this day, I still look at Terminator as the ultimate warning for AI development. Okay, at the end of the day. So, yeah, I mean, the Matrix is one thing, but Terminator is that's the benchmark for me when it comes to AI. Okay, we still talk about Skynet today when we think about AI. Um, but this Civil War movie, and there was that one scene where I guess these journalists, these reporters or whatever, and they came across some paramilitary dude or whatever, and they were like, "Hey, we're Americans." And he was like, "Oh, okay. What kind? Like, which Americans are you? What? Ooh, I need to see this. I need to see this because a modern day version of what a civil war would look like with our capabilities, with our misinformation, with our political views, with our underlying biases and stuff. Oh, there's so much meat on the bone for that. So yes, I want to see that. And it's coming from A24. This is the studio. Now they take some risks, but they will hit you with originality. And they are doing that with this. So I am here for this all day. For sure. That is definitely something I am looking forward to. Now, some of y'all might have forgot about this. This is a spin-off from we just talked about one of the best action series out there, and it's going to be The Ballerina. In case you forgot, in John Wick, the ballerina, these are one of the other types of assassins within this world of assassins, and the ballerina is going to be there. I think it's Anna de Armas is going to be the lead in this. Now, I'm a little surprised that they didn't go with Sophia Butella. She's the main lead from Rebel Moon because she actually is a dancer. I thought she would have just been perfect for this, but I don't know. They're taking Anna de Armas instead, and putting her in this role. I think Keanu Reeves briefly shows up in this movie. I think they have a quick little fight, maybe. I don't know. I think that was rumored. I mean, you should put John Wick in a John Wick spinoff in some capacity. But either way, I am looking forward to this. I just want to see what they do. I'm fascinated with this world. I'm fascinated with all the things that they've tried to build up with this. So it is definitely something that is on my radar for sure. Moving on, we're gonna go back to a little bit of horror. I love this. Alien, yes, Alien. What is it called? Alien Romulus is going to be the next iteration within the Alien IP franchise. And this one is coming from Fede Alvarez. Now, Fede has done the Resident, no, not Resident Evil, Evil Dead. He just recently did the Evil Dead movies. And for you scaredy cats, I know y'all didn't watch it, but for some of us that like horror, listen, I like the redo, the rebooted Evil Dead. Those things are violent. Those things are gory. They don't play. So if Fede comes with that same energy from them Evil Dead series and puts that in Alien, now Alien been slacking for a minute, and I'm a fan of the whole frame. I like Prometheus. Okay, I know some people don't. I like Prometheus. I am a sucker for the lore. I like all the. I even watch Predator versus Alien. Anything that deals with these things, I like it and I watch it. Okay, I went back and rewatched Alien. Fantastic. Aliens, goated. Like you're talking about solid stuff. So, um, the fact that you're doing this again and you're bringing a director that actually has done a very good job with violent horror films, I'm in. I'm in. So I am here for it. I am looking forward to it. Ridley Scott apparently is already co-signed, said that this is it. This is going there. So great. I'm all in. What else do we have here? Yeah, okay, yeah, we can do this one. I like this just for the fun of it. Godzilla X Kong, the new empire. Listen, I don't know what this new monkey is. They got some new monkey that they got to go fight. But whatever the case is, it's about to be a 2-on-1. And if you need both Godzilla and King Kong to fight against you, you got to be some kind of problem. So I am sitting here looking like, okay, let's go. I want to see what this new cake, because from the eye, hold on, y'all see the eyeballs? Because the eyeballs are shiny. Okay, the shiny eyeballs give me the impression that this might just be, and we haven't seen it, but I got the feeling that this ain't gonna be nothing more than just a combination of Godzilla and King Kong put together in this new enemy. I got a feeling that this new crazy ape probably sits here and blows out fire too. I think that's what we're going with. But listen, they got Godzilla in this. If y'all seen the trailers, they got Godzilla out here looking like a whole Super Saiyan. My man went from Super Saiyan God level to now he got the other Super Saiyan version. Now he got pink lasers or something, like instead of the blue lasers or whatever. So I guess he done been watching Dragon Ball a little bit of something. But he got his upgrade. But I'm looking forward to it. I'm a sucker for these movies. They're not great, but they are entertaining, nevertheless. And I've liked Skull Island. Actually, I really like Kong Skull Island. I like the previous ones, even though I still think Godzilla should have lost. When he went against King Kong. And I like the redo King Kong. So I like where they're going with all of this monster universe stuff. I just need less humans. Y'all don't be doing a good job with the humans. Now, Godzilla -1 did a fantastic job with showing the human. Brilliant job, but not this new stuff, not the new stuff. But all right, let's go on. Next up, I've got, this is a no-brainer. I mean, like, duh. I'm bringing it up again. Beyond the Spider-Verse. Yeah. So Across the Spider-Verse was already one of the best movies of the year. I absolutely cannot wait to see Beyond the Spider-Verse as well. This is definitely something that I'm thinking to myself, like, yo, if y'all are just exactly the same, I'm not even saying you got to be better. If you're exactly the same, this could go down as one of the best trilogies ever. Not best Spider-Man trilogy, best trilogies. And that's if it's just the same. If it's even better, I don't think there's any debate at that point. So Beyond the Spider-Verse, again, I don't know if it's coming in 2024. That's when it was announced. It also got delayed because it's animation. So there's a chance that it might come out in 2025, which I'm totally fine with if that's the case, because take your time. Don't rush nothing. Not on my account. Take your time and make sure that these things are done in a proper way. But Beyond the Spider-Verse is absolutely something I cannot wait for. And I think that will be fantastic. Here's one that I don't know. There might be a little divide on this. Some people might want to see it, some might not, but I'm okay with it because I do. And that is Joker 2, Folie à Deux. So Joker 2 is going to be a sequel, obviously, to Joker, starring Joaquin Phoenix. And we have Lady Gaga, who is going to play his Harley Quinn in this world. Now, a couple things here. This is going to be based off of, I'm not based off of, but it is going to be a musical, right? Now, I know musicals sometimes can have a negative connotation with some people. Matter of fact, I was just reading about how some studios are starting to stop using the term musical because it does turn people off. However, and the other knock against this is the fact that there was never supposed to be a sequel. There was never any plans for this to be a sequel because it was supposed to be a one and done type of thing. But when your movie makes $1 billion, the studio's not going to sit there and just be like, it's okay. Let's not make another half a billion, or another billion. We don't need that kind of money. No, they're going to press you. Nah, they gonna pressure you. And just like A Quiet Place, the studio was like, where that Joker 2 at? Run that sequel right now. So this is where we're at with it. So I'm a little concerned that maybe we're not gonna get the best quality, because if y'all know, and listen, it's one of the most popular videos on my channel. Even though I didn't like Joker the first time, it was because I didn't get the big joke. I missed it. Like I think a lot of people did. But then when I rewatched it, I was like, oh, this movie's genius. And go watch the video if you haven't. It's that whole "did you miss the big joke in Joker" video. I mean, this thing got millions of views, right? But you know, I'm not saying that they're going to do the same thing, but I'm willing to give this sequel a chance. So it is something I'm looking forward to. Yes, it is a musical. I can look past that. I just want to, like, here's the thing. If it's a musical, but if the musical is based on their shared delusion, I'm okay with it because they're crazy, right? So if crazy people want to listen, y'all ain't never seen no crazy people just singing and dancing for no reason. Y'all ain't never seen that. You know what I'm saying? So as long as it makes sense, even in their nonsense, I will be okay with it. It's not going to bother me that it's a musical, but either way, I'm giving it a shot. I'm gonna give it a chance and see what they do with it. My expectations aren't high, but I want to see where they go with it. Now here's something else, and it's a little bit of a change of pace, but y'all, I cannot lie. I'm a sucker for this because the first movie got me. I cannot wait for Inside Out 2. Inside Out has to be one of my most rewatchable animated movies, especially from Pixar. Like that movie was me. I mean, my wife was just making fun of me saying that I was the dad, I was the husband in there, because she'll be sitting there talking to me and asking me questions. And in my head, I'm playing some sports. I'm watching some TV shows in my head. And then them little people in my head be like, uh-oh, the wife just asked a question. You gotta respond. You gotta say something. And I'll be like, uh-huh, I agree. And she was like, I asked you, why did you buy tacos? And my dumb self talking about, I agree. Like all of this stuff is so true. They captured everything in Inside Out. My kids be the same way. I'm Lord. And they about to have their little girl turn into a teenager or whatever. And I got that. Oh, Lord Jesus. Help me. So yes, I cannot wait for Inside Out 2. And now they're introducing the new emotion, anxiety. Listen, I don't even have to deal with that on the teenage level. The little kids be dealing with that already. So I can't wait to see what they do with it. I thought the first movie was brilliant. I thought that they captured everything exactly the way that it was meant to be, and I cannot wait for that. Last but not least, and this is probably my most highly anticipated movie of 2024, and probably gonna be the first $1 billion movie in 2024. I don't know, but y'all, how can we not get excited for Deadpool and Deadpool 3? We don't have the official title yet. I suppose it's not really gonna be Deadpool 3. But whatever it is, you got the yellow and blue Logan. You got Hugh Jackman back in the suit. This is something that nobody saw coming. Nobody thought was possible. We went for years begging and hoping and wishing that Ryan Reynolds or that Hugh Jackman would come back, and Ryan Reynolds pulled off the impossible and got this man. Not only did he get him back, but he got him in the blue and yellow suit. But yes, as far as a comic book movie, this is probably going to be the only comic book movie I think that is going to be watchable. And yes, I do think it has the potential to be $1 billion, because Deadpool already is a pretty high selling franchise. It's a well-known character at this point, and Hugh Jackman is a draw. Wolverine is a draw. And you're putting both of those factors together. You're talking about addressing something that fans from both franchises, whether it's the X-Men or the Deadpool series, and you're putting it in the MCU, you don't think that that can make $1 billion easily? I mean, at minimum, this could make 800 million at minimum. And it's a comedy. Come on now. Come on now. So, like, again, this has got all the ingredients to be one of the best movies of the year. Now, will it be? We still have to wait and see. But I trust Ryan Reynolds' marketing ability because, again, the marketing for the first Deadpool movie was phenomenal. So I trust his marketing genius. I trust his relation to the characters. I trust his comedic style and timing. And even though they've been kind of shaky, I trust the Marvel machine. So this is the only Marvel thing coming out next year. You got a lot of good components, and you got Hugh Jackman coming back. Listen, it's their money to lose at this point. You know what I'm saying? You got all these, you got a starting five. You got all these starters, all these great components. If y'all can't do this, make this a success, don't make no more movies because this should be an easy layup. So yeah, Deadpool 3 tops my list here as one of the most highly anticipated things for 2024 on the film side. But y'all let me know. What do you think about this list? Are there any movies on here that you were thinking about? Some that maybe you didn't think about? Are there any movies I left off that you are looking forward to in 2024? Whatever you think, let me know in the comments down below. All right, let me grab this here. Deadpool 3. Thank you, Quiet One. Deadpool 3 might mess around and be the first $2 billion movie. Now, I don't know about all that. I don't know, because keep in mind, it is still rated R. So that's also a limiting factor. Now, $1 billion is the peak that I think this could hit. It's the peak. Realistically, I think it can still make 700 million, and I think that would be great if it can do that. But I do think that it has the peak and the potential to be $1 billion. I wouldn't say 2 billion now. That's, you need a lot more to be two. Now, Avengers Secret Wars, not Kang Dynasty, Secret Wars could be a $2 billion movie. That has that potential. I don't know about this one. Now, this one, again, $1 billion is probably like, that's the highest it can get to. But it should be no slouch. It should be no slouch. All right. That's all for the movie sides. Now we are going to shift and talk about What If Season 2. Now, when it comes to What If, I did not do I don't know why that's doing that. I did not do individual breakdowns for this, mainly because every episode was coming out every single day, and it just would have been too hard. And I was on vacation, so I wasn't about to jump on live every time to talk about 15 minutes of a show, or 20 or whatever it was. But we did get an episode per day, which I thought was actually kind of cool, especially when you have, this is why I say I enjoy and appreciate when Marvel tries to do different things. If this was Netflix, they would have dropped, every episode out on one time, and people would have caught it whenever they could have, and the word of mouth would have came and left or whatever. If this was the old Marvel, they would have dropped this one episode every week. And I'm sorry, not for these 20 minutes. If you're going to drop something once a week, you got to give us at least 45 minutes to an hour, something that can marinate for some time being before you move on, to the next episode. So the fact that they tried something different by giving us one episode per day, I thought that was actually kind of decent. Like, I was like, yo, you know what? This is cool. It gives people time to catch up. It's not a huge commitment. And like, if you want to cover it, you can. If you don't, no big deal, right? So either way, because of the whole vacation schedule, I decided to just talk about everything all at once right here, right now. Like I said before, this is not going to be a full entire breakdown, but I will kind of just go through every episode, just lightly touch on them here and there. So in the first episode, which one do we have? This was the one where we had Nebula. So this was the one with Nebula, and we had some real, I would say, Blade Runner type of vibes to it. Almost like a LA Confidential type of thing, where you're solving this crime with her. And I actually thought it was decent. This was a different style for Marvel, especially focusing on Nebula, which I thought was also kind of cool too. We got some side characters with Korg and Howard the Duck and all of that. And and of course you see Nebula here. As she's going through everything, she ends up turning into basically the other version of Yondu. And this is, I guess, they fake little Guardians of the Galaxy or whatever. But overall, I did think that the episode was decent. I did like the whole, background information with Nebula's character. I thought it was okay with the whole twist that they put at the end, especially how she was dealing with Yon-Rogg. I thought that was decent. Now I wouldn't say it was my favorite episode, but it was okay. Like for a little appetizer, something to start off, it was okay, So I was like, all right, fine, cool, whatever. Then we move on to episode 2, and this is where we deal with a young Peter Quill, or AKA Star Lord. And this is where he really was just kind of like, what if he were left in the care of Ego? So what if Yondu actually delivered him, and Ego was able to kind of separate him from his humanity, his mortal side a little bit, and just kind of groom him a little bit more, and we see him fully utilizing his powers and abilities. And at the same time, this takes place in 1988, where we see basically Shield under Howard Stark's operation. And we still see other Avengers, right? A different team. And this is, we get King T'Chaka, here, and he's part of the team. We got Bill Foster, aka Goliath. We also get Hank Pym as the original Ant-Man, here. You see Peggy, and we even have the Winter Soldier, Bucky, as well, because this whole Peter Quill thing is like a real global issue. And it was kind of cool that, they still showed Peggy and Bucky kind of having that little moment or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. We also had Wendy Lawson. I guess she'd been working with the Kree because she got her Kree gear on here. But she's been working with the Tesseract, of course. This is before Captain Marvel actually gets her powers and stuff like that. But I thought that this was interesting, especially when Thor came into the mix. I like the fact that we had a slightly different version of Thor here. He seemed a lot more serious. He wasn't as joking or whatever. But if you think about it, he came here because he wanted all the smoke with Peter Quill, because this Peter Quill was going around, and I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he destroyed Asgard. So this Peter Quill went to Asgard and destroyed it. So Thor was like, I ain't playing with y'all. I'm here to kill this little boy. I'm here to kill him, and that's it. We stomping him out. And of course, we see Ego seeds are here. He's been planting them all around the universe, trying to basically replicate himself and take over. And even though they captured Peter, we do see a young Wasp, Janet here. She ends up freeing him. And it just kind of boils down to this whole story of how he's just a misunderstood kid, blah, 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 blah. Ego's like, yo, where's my offspring at? Y'all not just gonna take my kid like that and leave him, whatever. So he comes back to get him. But of course, this is where things start to get a little bit more predictable, because rather than going down a completely alternate route, we go down a familiar route again, where he ends up telling Star-Lord about his mom and what he did. And of course, that was not okay, even though they just got done recruiting him to be on their side. And even though I did like this whole little battle here, I thought that was kind of cool, because it's like, what are you going to do against a Celestial? Like, eventually you're not going to make it. But of course, they, use a celestial against a celestial to defeat them. Now, by the way, I probably should have said this, and I don't know if y'all didn't notice, but this is going to be somewhat spoilery, so sorry. But yeah, we're gonna go through all of that. But overall, for this episode, it was cool. It was all right. It was nice to see. Uh, I'm sorry. What did I say? I said Janet. That was Hope. I'm getting the wrong Van Dyne. That was Hope. We saw a young Hope. Janet was actually killed here, and Hank was mad about that. And that's why he almost didn't even want to work with them. So that was cool that they kept that energy alive too. But yeah, I thought overall this was okay. Um, you know, I was a little put off though with the fact that it was so predictable, because I was just like, okay, clearly you about to use him against his daddy again, but well, okay, whatever. But we're only 2 episodes in. And one of my issues with this season has not baked in yet, but we're getting close. So then we jump to episode 3. This is Happy Hogan saving Christmas or whatever. Let's see. Then we get Justin Hammer's back in action. They're sitting here looking for the Hulk blood because everybody wants Hulk blood. But of course, the Hulk blood gets mishandled. It gets into Happy Hogan. He gets it. He turns into a freak monster or whatever. He fights off everybody, saves Justin Hammer, and that's it. This had to have been the weakest episode to me. This would have been something that I would have skipped. Like, I didn't care. It wasn't terrible. I'm just saying, like, out of this whole season, I was just kind of like, y'all could have saved this one. Like, this feels like one of those episodes that Marvel wanted to do for themselves, because there were a lot of inside jokes for themselves. Again, I don't think it was a terrible episode. I'm just saying, compared to everything else that they had, it was on the weaker side for me. So moving on, what else do we have? Yeah, we did the Happy Hogan. Episode 4. So episode 4, this is where we got Tony Stark's journey. Now, I like this. I like the fact that this was kind of like, what happens if Tony Stark didn't make it back and he was kind of lost in space. And, while he's lost in space, he ends up meeting the Grandmaster, again. And then he's got him doing this, I don't know, Mad Max, almost Star Wars chariot race car thing going on or whatever. Now here's the crazy thing though. Like, I thought that this was going to be a story about Gamora, because that's kind of what they said. That, in the first season, we saw Tony and Gamora teaming up, and they said that, yeah, we're gonna find out why and how they teamed up, and she took over, she killed Thanos and all this stuff. And I was like, yo, that's interesting. I do want to see more of Gamora's story of, like, what if she changed earlier, But this ended up being more of a story about Tony, and not so much about Gamora. But what I did like about it was the fact that, we see a little bit more about how Tony's journey to become a hero is manifested a little bit more. And I did think that was actually pretty fun. I thought it was real dope how he came up, like, they kept the integrity of Tony's character together in terms of him just being a genius. And when you expose him to more technological things, he's going to figure it out and he's going to adapt. And when he had his suit go and turn into the car, I was like, yo, that was pretty slick. That was really, really dope. And then of course, after they win the race or whatever, have their laughs, now it's time for Gamora to meet Thanos. And this is Thanos, he doesn't have his space ring. He gave that to Ronan or whatever. He doesn't have his Mind Stone. He gave that to Loki or whatever. So this is Thanos just sitting there, and Gamora takes him out. And I was just like, that's how he goes out, just like that. Like, he just sat there and was like, oh, so I'm dead, huh? Okay. All right, I'm dead. Now, this is where the show started to get a little suspect for me as a series, because I'm sitting here like, okay, we've seen this before. We've seen Thanos get wiped off the planet and turned into a zombie. We've seen this before. And now, and to be fair, season one, y'all already did say that this Gamora killed this Thanos. Okay. Okay. Let's see what else you got. So then we move on to episode 5. And I like this one. This wasn't bad. This was the Watcher, and he was repairing everything from the last season when Ultra Vision came through, or Ultron Vision, and broke, a lot of the walls and stuff. So the Watcher's repairing everything here. And we pick up with Peggy Carter, or Captain Carter. And now she's back in the world. Where she left off, in terms of being thrust forward in time, basically copying Captain America's story. Speaking of which, we do find out that the Hydra Stomper, or whatever it was called, is now around, and they it's on a mission to take out, Bucky, because Bucky done climbed up the political ladder now. But we also find out that it was Steve that was under there the whole time. And this, of course, causes a lot for Peggy to deal with, because she's a woman out of time, and now he's also a man out of time. And I have no idea how the heck this suit kept him preserved for this long, but whatever. Comics, fiction, all right. But they end up going on a mission to go and stop the Red Room, aka where the Black Widow came from. And they get met with all these drones that are like shooting these little stingers at them. And we get keep in mind, this is the Black Widow from another universe too, by the way, that they pulled out. But looks like it was all a trap, and Steve was actually playing them from the jump. And even though he was playing them, all it took was just a couple nice words, and it broke him free from the whole mind control thing. And he ended up turning on their side. Meanwhile, Natasha's going against Melina, her adoptive mother. Pretty decent action scenes here, though, by the way. I did like the action scenes. And of course, Steve was like, nah, kamikaze mission. That's what we on today. Goes all the way up, destroys everybody. And right before we can get done, Peggy gets sucked up into some mystical portal, some other hole or whatever. And even the Watcher was like, what the hell? Like, what was that? So again, this was interesting. I mean, this came from Wanda. So Wanda from another reality ended up opening up this hole to transport Peggy Carter. And now I'm sitting here like, wait a minute. Wanda got multiversal powers now? Like, she can open. Wanda can try. Now here's the thing. Did this Wanda have did she have the dark hold? Because that's the only way she learned how to do some of that stuff that she was doing. Did she did she kidnap America Chavez? Is America Chavez dead and consumed? Like, how did she learn how to do this? Because her powers ain't got nothing to do with multiversal time hopping or whatever. They just don't. But I guess, whatever. That's a question we just have to figure out later. Let's see. Jumping to episode 6. We see here, this is where Odin was fighting against Surtur, and in that whole encounter, Asgard gets destroyed. And before anything can happen, or I'm sorry, after everything happens, the Space Stone ends up finding its way onto Earth, and goes out here. And this is where we actually get one of the original characters created here, is Kahori, and I really liked her character. This had to have been one of the best things that Marvel has done so far with their Disney Plus series. I mean, yes, Loki was great, but the fact that you actually took the time to create a new character, honestly, that's what this What If series could have always been about. We could have had a plethora of not remixed characters, because they gave us a lot of remixed characters of like, what if they went this route? No, you could just give us a different situation that creates a whole new character. And that to me is super, super dope. So I love the fact that we got her in here. And of course, we got some of the original colonizers as well. But we see here that she gets transported because of the time stone or the space stone to another location. And within that location, she meets other folks from her past tribes. I believe this was the Mohawk tribe, if I'm not mistaken. But when I tell you, I love what this series did in terms of really trying to keep the authenticity of these native cultures and beliefs. I believe Marvel consulted with a whole lot of experts in the field or whatnot. And it feels like, I can't testify to whether it was true or not, but it feels like it was authentic. It felt like, that they really captured all the things that the cultures and their beliefs really believed in. And what I also liked was the fact that they tied this in with with history, to a certain extent, because you have the Spanish conquistadors who wanted to look for the fountain of youth. And of course, you have this water that gives people all these abilities and stuff. And honestly, I actually liked what they did with the powers as well. Like the powers and everything from the people, I thought was really dope. I like the way they used them here. I thought all of this stuff was just really, really good storytelling. I like the fact that, like, when they actually do confront the queen and stuff like that, I like the fact that they took the time to learn Spanish so that they could speak to them. So, like, again, if anybody's wondering how come they wasn't speaking language, first of all, I love the fact that they wasn't speaking English. Why would native people speak English for us? You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, eventually they can learn that. But I love the fact that it was all captions. We had to deal with their language because that they don't speak English. And then they spoke a little Spanish to the Spanish queen. And then eventually, of course, they speak English. But I just really like what they did here. Now, it was a little interesting. I'll say that. It was interesting that Kahori just, boy, when she took up, like, she was just like, "Oh, are these magic powers?" Pew! She listen, it ain't take no time for her to learn. No time. Now she did train. Okay, she did train, so I'll give her that. But boy, she came up and she was like, "I'm finna Captain Marvel this. I'm finna, I'm finna Ray Skywalker this." And she ended up like, "Oh, this what y'all do for fun? Yeah, I just grabbed like 50 million crystals. That was the game, right?" So anyway, even then, I still enjoyed, this was probably one of my favorite episodes out of the whole series. And then even after all of that, we see, boom, Doctor Strange show up. And now, in case you didn't notice, he too has multiversal powers as well. Because now he can travel across the multiverse, which it's like, yo, you traveling across the multiverse and Wanda doing that too? What is going on? Like, at this point, I'm like, yo, what? There's got to be some other multiversal threat, because now, he was like, "Oh, you're the person I was looking for," when he was talking about Kahori, and I was just like, "Oh snap! Look like we about to do another. It's round two for the multiversal Avengers." But what is this big thing? What is the big issue that Doctor Strange got to get involved now? So overall, and by the way, I love the fact that Kahori gave the queen a whole chance, and the queen was like, "Nah, we ain't going." And Corey was like, "All right, whatever. Down goes your throne." So I'm down with it, because listen, old girl was like, "Look, I'm coming to give you peace. Matter of fact, I gave you a peace offering. You don't want it, but you really don't want it. Okay, you don't want the peace, but you don't want this. Okay." But I loved how they did that. Again, I thought this was one of the best stories that they had for this series so far. Moving on, we have episode 7. Now, episode 7, I have mixed feelings about episode 7. Now, episode 7 is the one with Hella. And this episode, I thought, started off great, but it had some issues in the writing that I did not particularly care for. Now, I know some people might like this, and I'm not trying to ruin this episode for people. And maybe I'm wrong about some things. I'll totally accept that. So if I'm wrong about it, like it's fine. Y'all can let me know if you have a different opinion. But there was some things in this episode I was not feeling. But let's kind of go through it real quick. So Hela, of course, we know is the goddess of death, goddess of destruction, and all of that. And of course, we know the whole story where basically she was just a little too OP with her obsession with death. And she has this whole confrontation with her dad, Odin, and he banishes her, right? He kicks her out of Asgard. And it's basically the Thor story all over again. Because Odin was like, yo, you need to value life. You need to respect life and show mercy, and he puts a curse on her helmet, very similar to how he did with Mjolnir with Thor. So, in other words, Thor had to learn how to be worthy and all of that. So he was like, yo, you got to learn how to be merciful. You got to learn how to have some compassion for life and not have this bloodthirstiness or whatever. And, that's it, right? That's why he banished her. So, by the way, that is very important. Okay. I want you to realize the reason why he sent her is very important to my criticism later on. Now, of course, we get the helmet is now stuck, just like Thor's hammer was stuck. But now we move into Wenwu. Wenwu, of course, at this time he had the 10 rings, and the 10 rings, he was basically, according to him anyway, was using to protect the realm from other invaders, other let's say things from outside of Earth or whatever. He was trying to conquer everything to protect it at the same time. So kind of a mixed shady character. I did think it was pretty funny how Hela was like, "Oh no, please, I'm just a helpless woman," and then starts to kick everybody's butt. Thought that was pretty cool. But they do end up when we was like, "Oh, okay, like if I understand what it means to have these ancient relics, and if you are worthy of that, go pick it up." And she tried, she failed, couldn't do it. Then we saw a little something, something, looked like she was trying to kick it off with Wenwu. Maybe they was trying to bust a ring or two. Who knows? But of course, she wasn't playing with him. She wanted to get out. So she escapes into the forest of Tao Lo, and that's where she meets Shang-Chi's mama. And she decides to take Hela under her guidance for some time and to train her because for whatever reason, she just saw something in her. Meanwhile, Heimdall, with his nosy self, of course, he couldn't see Hela anymore. That bothered him. He told Odin. Odin was like, "Oh, hell no. What you mean you can't see her? Is she dead?" And Heimdall was like, "Look, I don't know if she dead, but I do know that Earth Midgard, they do have some weapon down there. And them rings, they dangerous. Them things will probably kill a god or something." And Odin was like, "Oh, hell no. This gonna disturb the peace? Nah, man, we can't have that. I don't like that at all." So now Odin, even though he wants peace by any means necessary. And that includes starting up a war or inciting violence, which already is a bit of a contradiction if you really think about it. So Odin decides to go to Midgard to figure out what's going on with these 10 rings and who's behind it, what's the deal and all of that. Meanwhile, Hela is training and she is getting good. Okay, she out here pushing the flowers and stuff, doing the matrix and all that. When she doing a thing, the kung fu flowers. She getting all of that. But word is that Odin is out and he's on Earth, and they gotta, she gotta face him. That's part of her, that's her issue, because what I like about this was the fact that they were really talking about Hela's character when Shang-Chi's mama said, like, "Well, what do you want? Like, what do you do? You conquer everything, then what?" And I like that because I like the fact that this is what you do to dig at somebody's character. This is what they did in Loki for a long time. It was like, well, you want to conquer Earth for what? And Loki was like, man, I was just scared. Like, I just didn't want to be alone. I want to be in control. And Hela basically was like, I just wanted freedom. I just wanted to be free to make my own decisions, because if I conquer everything, that's just a means to an end for her. And I thought that was brilliant. I love that, because I was like, yo, it's really dope when we get like the motivations, the real tinkering behind a villain and their intentions, and realize like, all you wanted was just this. And if you had that, then this little ambition of trying to take over the world wouldn't even be a thing. Like, maybe if you didn't have daddy issues, maybe if you didn't have certain insecurities or whatever, you'd be a better person. And I like how it's always coming down to how choices and situations can drastically affect someone's character. And that's what we're seeing here with Hela. But of course, Odin comes down. We see the tag team matchup with Wenwu and with Hela. They going against Odin. And this is kind of sort of where I started to have an issue. Now, I liked the idea that you had the goddess of death and you had this guy Wenwu who had these weapons. And keep in mind, these 10 rings, we still don't know where they came from. Okay, we still don't know their origin. And according to Hela, these things did not come from the 9 realms, or at least it didn't come from this realm, from Midgard. So she's like, yo, this is a foreign object to us. And Heimdall's like, yo, whatever this is, it could kill a god. So I had no issue with the fact that they were fighting. Matter of fact, one thing that I did like was the fact that Odin was keeping up. He might have been old, he might not have been in his prime, but the All Father is still no joke. Like, just because he's old does not mean he's some pushover. Odin was so powerful that he kept other folks in check. That's one of the reasons why people did not even think about trying to take over Midgard, Asgard, until this man took a power nap. That's the only time. That's because that's how powerful Odin was. So I wasn't mad that you had him kind of not really struggling, but he was still fighting against both of them. But this is where I started to have an issue, and it was right here. It was right here. Once again, this is what he said right here. And I'm quoting him, since when does my daughter pass a chance to end life? Because this was the moment where she beat Odin and she could have killed him, but she didn't. She showed mercy. And right when she showed mercy, what happened? Boom, the helmet comes back. We see her now. She's all in white. She's good. She's clean. All of that good stuff, right? But what does Odin do? Odin's still like, where's my daughter? Where's my daughter that was the killing machine? Like, where is she at? And he still wouldn't give up. What? What was the purpose of this? What was the purpose of this? What was the purpose of this man putting a curse on her helmet to literally wait for her to learn compassion and mercy? And then when she actually does learn the lesson, you still don't want that? You still not okay with it? That was bad writing to me. That was bad writing for Odin, just because you wanted to push Hela's character. Now, at the end of the day, if you're trying to be consistent, Odin should not be sitting here like, oh, where's my daughter of God? Oh, how come you learn mercy now? You should have been like, oh, my daughter, you got it. You're finally worthy of your helmet. You learned the lesson that I've been saying. And when he, kneeled to her and was like, okay, you won. You can have the throne of Asgard. No. It shouldn't have been given to her through an act of submission because she beat you up. Odin should have been like, oh, man, you finally learned the lesson that I was hoping you would. And because of that, not only are you worthy of your powers, but now you should be worthy of the throne. So this whole idea of trying to keep Odin just negative, that to me was bad writing. That was not okay. It made no sense because I'm like, what was the point of the whole curse in the first point? Like what? What are you doing? Y'all just see. This is where the writing was like, no, we need him to just stay being a bad guy so we could keep elevating Hela at this point. So I didn't care for that. That did not add up to me. And then we did the one thing that I was really hoping we would not keep doing, but they did it anyway. And of course, now that Hela is now the new, reigning goddess or queen of Asgard, which is fine. Let's go kill Thanos. Because when in doubt, let's go kill Thanos. Because we ain't got nothing else to do. Just night Thanos. Again? Really? It's like they just keep going to the same bag of tricks, and I'm sorry, it's not really all that great of a trick. Anyway, moving on to episode 8. We go to 1602. And by the way, I didn't know this, but this is actually based off of a whole comic series. So that's actually pretty cool that they're doing that. But we have this world that is dealing with incursions. And in these incursions, you basically have two realities that have been melded together. But what I like about this so far, what I like about it is the fact that everyone is aware of what's happening. Everyone is aware that, yes, there are rips in the realms and the worlds have merged together. But I really do believe that what they're doing in episode 8, I think that this is an indication of what could happen in Secret Wars or in Avengers Kang Dynasty. I have the feeling that we just got a taste of basically what it's going to look like when we have multiple realities, maybe a reality with X-Men, when it merges with an already existing reality that's on the verge of an incursion. So I do like that this was happening. And I like the fact that the characters were aware. They were just like, we saw Scarlet Witch and Nick Fury later on. They just really knew, they understood, like, yo, we have to save this world, So I thought that was pretty cool. But this is where it got dumb to me. Hela, she's queen here. Again, that's fine. This is the part that made no sense. What the hell was up with Thor? Thor out of nowhere, because Scarlet Witch brought Peggy Carter to this reality to save their realm. First of all, I don't know why they thought Peggy Carter. Why would you think out of anybody a super soldier from another reality was going to save y'all from a planetary reality incursion? Shouldn't y'all have been grabbing more Scarlet Witches? Shouldn't y'all been grabbing y'all a couple Doctor Strangers? Like, y'all should have been grabbing some other folks. What? Look, should y'all have grabbed the Watcher? Y'all should have grabbed somebody else instead of Peggy Carter. But then on top of that, when Hela does end up getting sucked into the realm or whatever, so I don't know, wherever she goes, she's gone. Thor now is mad at Peggy? What? Bad writing. Bad writing. I know Thor is stupid. I know he's not the brightest. But you gonna blame Peggy after, by the way, she literally just saved your brother from being sucked in. But you gonna blame her for the incursions that sucked up your sister? That, again, Peggy ain't got no powers. How the hell did y'all think she was gonna save y'all in the first place? Dumb. This was just dumb to me, just to make Thor the villain or the antagonist in this. Again, I get why they did it for the sake of the story. I just thought it was just weird that all of a sudden this was the reason why he was all against her. But whatever. Anyway, we got to tell the story. Anyway, now apparently Captain Carter can hear and see the Watcher. Whoo, listen, hold on, man. Listen, we starting to get real free with they taking a lot of liberties here. Okay, now I'm just saying, usually In order for a being to be aware or have the ability to even see or hear or notice the watcher, and I'm using the MCU's rules, I'm not going into the comics, you usually have to attain a certain level of ability and power on a cosmic level to become attuned to his presence. I don't care if the watcher used to talk to her in the other multiversal episodes or whatever. That don't mean that she can be able to see and talk to him just like that. But if that's what they're doing, I guess man, I just thought it made more sense that when you get to that level, it should come from having more abilities because again, that's what they established. Doctor Strange didn't start hearing the Watcher until he gained a whole lot of power. Ultron and Vision didn't start hearing the Watcher until he gained a whole lot of cosmic power. That's what made them attuned to cosmic anything. I just think it's mighty convenient that now all of a sudden she can hear him. That's all. So, whatever. I thought this was funny though. When they're having this whole conversation and she's like, yo, we got to save this world. Yo, we got to do all this stuff. We got to help. And the Watcher tuned, I don't know if y'all caught this, but the Watcher tapped into his inner Cameron from Paid in Full and was like, yo, worlds be dying every day, B. Okay? Like, worlds die every day. I don't know why I found that so funny. Because he was just like, I mean, I be seeing worlds die all the time. Universes die all the time. Like, what's the big deal? And if you think about it, he's not wrong. You can't save every single reality. You can't save every world. You know what I'm saying? Like, some of these worlds are gonna die. The majority, thankfully, thanks because of Loki, most of them are going to live, but you can't save all of them. Anyway, I just thought that was a funny little moment there. But we start to see more characters. We see Tony Stark here. Of course, he's still, tinkering away in his lab and all that. Then, of course, we see what is this? Robin Rogers or whatever, Rogers Hood or whatever. And by the way, so she needs him to steal the gem that's in Thor's scepter, which I believe is the time stone in this case. And by the way, they sent me clean off with this. Now, granted, I heard the Hulk and I was like, oh, okay, they got the Hulk locked up. But when I saw this, I really thought that this was Doctor Doom. I'm not gonna lie, because this is the old mask that Doctor Doom used to wear back in the old school comics. Okay, so I really thought that What If was about to be bold and give us Doctor Doom early. But nah, it was the Hulk for real. So I was like, all right, fine, whatever. It was fine to have the Hulk here. It was cool, whatever. And then, of course, Wanda is revealed to be working with Nick Fury. Turns out that they have to find out who the Forerunner is, basically the first person out of time. And if they can send that person back in time, then that would have been the way to save their world, I guess. And then, of course, we find out that it was actually Steve Rogers, because it's always Steve Rogers' fault. The same way Infinity War was all his fault, this also was all his fault, because he was facing Thanos here. And oh my gosh, Thanos actually doesn't die here, but they do end up showing that it is Steve. And we do have a touching moment between Steve and Peggy, where they talk about, like, man, like, are we ever gonna have some time? Are we ever gonna be able to just have that moment where we could just, be together? And he said here, someday we will. Now, here's the thing, and I don't know if this is consistent or not. I wonder if this Man Out of Time, because if you think about it, he said that he hit Thanos's gauntlet and scraped against the time stone. We would never notice if he was gone and back at that same time. Okay. So if he left at 1 second and he returned at that same 1 second, we would never notice that. So what I'm saying, though, I wonder if this Steve Rogers that went to this other time and all this stuff, I wonder if this moment, this interaction with Peggy is what influenced him to make his decision in Endgame to therefore go back in time and spend it with Peggy in the alternate timeline. Just thought, I don't know, but I think that would be kind of cool if that was the connection. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? So again, in that brief moment in Infinity War, hit the time stone, zip out, go live another life, zip right back in, almost seamless. So he probably don't even notice. And then he's like, dang, you know what? I sure could go. I sure do want me some Peggy from an alternate timeline. Maybe. I don't know. Y'all let me know what you think. Maybe. Actually, that's, you know what? I need to ask if I ever get an interview with one of them. I'm gonna ask them if that's the case. That'd be a good one. Don't nobody steal that. I know somebody be watching, they be stealing my questions. Anyway, so after they fix everything, we get a visit from once again Doctor Strange to visit Captain Carter, and it seems like things listen, something gotta be popping off. If Strange is popping off, we saw him visit Ahori and Kahori, and we see him visiting Captain Carter. Clearly, there's a multiversal level threat. It's looking like we got to do the multiversal Avengers again, and we will see how that goes. Now we go. So I will say for this episode, it was okay. Wasn't my favorite. Wasn't the worst. It was fine. It was fine. I didn't like the Thor thing, with the writing, but it was fine either way. Now we fast forward to episode 9. So now with episode 9, we have Doctor Strange, and we're in his like new sanctum or whatever. And while he was recruiting Peggy, he brings her into this new place where basically he's been collecting all these villains, and he was like, yo, I need you to go help me with this one villain, but I can't really do nothing with her because she gonna see me coming, but she ain't gonna see you coming. Now here's the thing, I thought when he said that, I thought he was talking about an evil version of Peggy, because I was like, oh, that would make sense to send an evil, to send the good Peggy against the evil Peggy, because Peggy would know how to figure it out. I thought that's what they were going with, but that's not what they were going with. Instead, threw a curveball, and it was really Kahori. That's who she was actually after. And by the way, I like that whole little Age of Ultron, with Quicksilver thing. Oh, you didn't see that coming? I like that little callback there. That was pretty cool. But Kahori was like, yo, I'm not the villain here. It's this dude right here. He the real problem. And boom, that's when we see Evil Strange has come right back out again. And apparently he wants to capture Kahori, because basically he wants to put all the villains and the heroes into some big old forge to recreate his world. Now, this is where the episode starts to fall apart for me, because I'm not a fan of the fact of undoing the redemption for characters. I don't really care for that, because one of my favorite episodes in season 1 was the Doctor Strange episode. I still say that Doctor Strange episode was better than the actual movie Doctor Strange 2. Way better character development, way better, consequences. Just everything I thought was done better. Even Kevin Feige told the people making the movie, he showed them what if episode 4 with Doctor Strange was like, this is y'all competition. Like, y'all need to do better than this. So when we saw Doctor Strange here revert back, it felt cheap to me, because you're talking about a guy who literally was already pushed to the edge. He was already pushed to the edge to learn his lesson that, yo, Christine, and trying to do all this stuff ain't worth it. And the fact that he got pushed even further beyond that, to me, I didn't care for that writing direction, because you literally lost all existence. And on top of that, you did bring back Christine in that other episode, and she ain't want your funky monster tail. She literally told you, I don't know you. I don't want you. So just where does the motivation come from for this Supreme Strange to go back and bring that love of his life and stop her, bring her back? You literally lost the entire world and existence. You saw what it felt like. You saw the errors of your actions, and now you was like, nah, let me do it again. Let me try another way. I mean, I understand being lonely is a problem. I get that. But for some booty? You did all that just for some booty? For some booty that didn't even want you. She don't even want you. Bro, you couldn't have gone through with all them magical portals you got. You couldn't go to another universe where maybe you never existed and maybe you just fell in love with her over there. I feel like we're going right back into the same issues that Doctor Strange 2 did with Wanda. Because remember, Wanda was doing some stupid stuff too with her dumb plan to go get her kids when she could have just magically recreated them, or out of the infinite possibilities, go into a world where maybe they mama not there and the kids are there and you adopt them or something. I'm just saying I did not like the writing for his motivation. Now, there is another possible explanation with Doctor Strange and his motivations, and I'm gonna tell you why I didn't like that either. I'm gonna get to that. But while we're going through this, we see that Peggy has the bright idea of unleashing all this chaos to distract Doctor Strange Supreme. We see in all these different variants. We see Wenwu here, and we see another Hela here, which was kind of cool. We see a return of the Marvel zombies and Marvel Wanda zombie. Who was never mind. I ain't even gonna go there. We also see this. I think this was a version of Thor if he had the Hulk powers. I think that's who he was, Thulk or whatever it was. I don't know. I was gonna say horror, but no. We also see Surtur. I love how Surtur and Hela was like, "Oh, you? Oh, you?" Because remember back in Thor Ragnarok, like they went at it, together. By the way, this was also something I had an issue with in the last episode where Hela was fighting Odin. Again, I'm going off of MCU logic here, okay? I don't think it made a lot of sense for Hela. Yes, she had Wenwu's help, but I don't think that she was supposed to have all this ability to defeat Odin. Again, because Odin is no slouch. But according to the whole logic, Hela is more powerful when she's in Asgard. I don't know, home territory, whatever you want to call it. So all I'm saying is you had Hela without her powers and her stuff. Yeah, she learned some Tao Lo stuff, but then you also had her away from Asgard and she's still able to beat Odin. I'm just saying, like, if y'all had brought her to Asgard, maybe that would have been a little bit more believable. But anyway, again, nitpicking at that point. But I just thought that was something that could have been utilized since it was established for her character that she gets way more powerful when she's in Asgard. Anyway, what else do we have here? Oh, of course, Thanos, guess who's back? And of course, they're not going to do what they did last time. Of course, they will, because they have to bring back Killmonger, and Thanos is dead once again. I'm at the point now where I think it might be time for me to make another video where Marvel is really starting to fail Thanos. And it's a very similar feeling that I had with Marvel and the Hulk and how they failed the Hulk, but I really feel like they are failing Thanos with this running joke. I'm assuming this is a joke that he just keeps dying in all these what if things. So I'm going to get my thoughts together on that, but it's starting to become more of an annoyance than it is a, oh look, ha 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 type of thing for me. It was cool to bring back Killmonger, I guess, brought him back in his little armor or whatever. Now this is probably where I have another slight issue, and I feel like this might also be a bit of an inconsistency within the MCU. Again, some of this stuff is my opinion, but I'm also basing it off of the logic that has been pre-established in the MCU. You guys are not on Earth. You're not in whatever reality that you're in. The Infinity Stones are made up of the essence of a reality. So if you have the Infinity Stones from the 616, they technically should only work in the 616. In other words, if you take the Infinity Stones from the 616 and go to the 838, they're not going to work. Now, in the last season, the What If writer, AC Bradley, she tried to find a workaround. Now, I think I was one of them. We tried to call her out on it because we was like, how are y'all using this? And it's outside the universe. It don't make sense. Now, she did say that you can use the Infinity Stones on yourself. Because I was sitting there, I was like, how is Ultron, how is he able to use these things? But according to her, she was saying that you can use them on yourself. Now, personally, I still don't think that logic holds up, but let's just say that is the case. Let's just say you can use it. If I'm from the 616 and I use the stones on myself, fair game. Fine. It's fiction. But what the hell are they doing working on other people? How are these abilities working on other people? Now, I'm not talking about Kahori, because Kahori, her powers do come from her space stone, but those powers are embedded in her. So that's not an issue for me. I'm talking about Killmonger snapping away Thanos. You literally have two different Infinity Stones from two different realities, but one can have power over it. No. That to me is what that's not adding up. It's not adding up. And then now we get into what seems to feel like the rabbit hole of getting a little overpowered. Because now Peggy got to have the stones. Okay, I get it. You need something to combat against Supreme Strange. I'm fine with that. And you see Strange is going all out. He's doing his thing. But then all of a sudden, Peggy starts to use the stones on herself. Again, I don't think that the logic should work, but fine, whatever. And then all of a sudden, the overpowering comes in. Everybody starts throwing her weapons. You got the 10 rings, you got Mjolnir. Everybody's throwing her all their weapons, and now everybody got all the powers. Everybody got all the powers. And Hela's helmet. This was starting to get a little overboard for me. Because one thing that I always like in my heroes is for them to, don't get me wrong, I'm a Dragon Ball fan. I understand what overpowered looks like. Okay. I understand it. But I always like it when you have a place of struggle to come from. And I don't feel like that was really had here. In other words, it didn't really feel like this was earned as much because it was kind of like, here's some magical gimmicks. Take all the magical gimmicks. To be fair, you are fighting a magical wizard. That's crazy, I guess. But this kind of made me feel like what we got in Secret Invasion. That was it. That was it. It was almost like, hey, remember in Secret Invasion where we had to give that one scroll all the powers? I guess. I guess. So I'm rolling with it. I'm like, okay, I'm rolling with it. And I do like the fact that they turned it up a little bit with Strange. So we saw this in the last season as well. Strange, of course, consuming all that dark energy, all that dark, the monsters and all that stuff. We saw that all that stuff was built up in him, and he started turning into the monster, the Legion. Now, here's the other excuse, because I told y'all I did not like the excuse of this man going through this whole journey. And let's not make light of the journey that Supreme Strange went through. This dude literally went through the most. He went through every outcome of trying to bend time, trying to fix his world, trying to bend reality, trying to use magic, trying to bring his girl back. And none of it worked. None of it worked. And this dude said, let me go back and try and recreate the world. For what? I could see if maybe there was another possibility. I could see that. But recreating his same world made no sense. But anyway, some might say maybe it's because he got possessed. I am Legion, right? Like maybe that was the monster that was doing this. Now, here's the thing. We've dealt with possession before, or at least I believe we have. And I said that this had very similar vibes as Doctor Strange 2 with Wanda. And I made a video about it. I told y'all Wanda's plan never made sense and it was always stupid because I believe it was never her plan. It was always Chthon or the bigger evil entity's plan. Because remember, she at least had the influence of the Darkhold working on her. So when you have these outside influences, those things can impact your decision making. I'm fine, I'm not always a fan of it, but I'm understanding of it. I don't think that was at play here because even though, yes, he had all these different monsters and stuff going on, the reason why possessions don't always work for me is because usually the possession should lead to a bigger plan that's in the works. I didn't get that here. So yeah, Strange he might want Christine back, but whatever this legion of demons or monsters are, they should have wanted something more or bigger. And if there was a plan, that was not expressed. I didn't see any of that happening. These legion of monsters, whatever, they didn't say, no, he's ours, and we're going to recreate a world in our image instead. Forget Christine. Like, it'd be different if they were using him for a greater evil plan. Now it makes more sense why he would do something so dumb as recreating his world. But that's not what it was. They were just like, nah, we just in here. Nah, we're just going to keep doing what we're doing. To me, not good writing. Didn't like it. Just one of those things of like, well, we're here now. We need to make Doctor Strange more evil. So, let's just keep going. Bad timing. Didn't like it. So even though he does finally submit or whatever, he falls into the forge. And I like here. Now, here's the thing. You might think to yourself that he was being redeemed here. Because I told y'all one of my issues was the whole redeeming thing, right? But the issue here is like, and this might be something people might forget. Keep in mind that might not be the actual evil Strange. It could have been, trying to fight against it. Maybe he learned his lesson again at that last minute. But I do kind of think that maybe that was actually the good Strange that was in him. Because don't forget, in the last episode in season one, the ancient one split Doctor Strange up into two. His good side, where he never, was a simp for Christine, and his more evil side, right? And even though they fought each other, the evil one absorbed the good Strange. So I'm really thinking that at the end here, that was actually the good Strange that might have finally kicked in, maybe, and was like, "Hey man, this plan is stupid. We need to die. Let's go." Maybe. I don't know. I mean, well, I guess we'll have to wait and see if they confirm. But anyway, everything all plays out nicely. The Watcher ends up saving her, taking her back to a reality where Christine does exist, but Doctor Strange was never born or whatever. So there's that. But what I did like about the end of this was that they also confirmed, and we got to see the tree. This is the multiversal tree that Loki is, as we know, holding together with his hands at the very end. And I thought that was a really, really cool way, just to kind of show that, like, hey, anything is still possible. The multiverse is still growing, yada, yada, yada. And that to me was a nice way to kind of connect everything without being dependent on other shows or whatever. So I thought that was actually kind of cool. Now, so that was my whole thing. I liked the episode, but like I said, I did have a couple grievances with the direction and the writing of especially Doctor Strange's character. I didn't think it was very well fleshed out. But or at least it wasn't clear, not to me. But in terms of the overall season for season 2 of What If, um, I thought that this season was a step down from season 1. And one of the reasons why I felt it was a step down was because this was far too safe. This entire, season was it took very little risk, and I'm not saying that everything has to be doom and gloom, but I'm like, yo, in the first couple episodes of the season 1, you had Avengers just dying. You had people just showing up getting murdered. You had the world being taken over by zombies. Like, we actually got to see alternate situations pan out in different realities. And the reason why I say that this is not a good thing is because when we get to see all the other worlds, all the other realities, really going down a bad path or whatever, it makes you appreciate the 616 universe all that much more. Right. So when you get to see and be like, man, at least we not in the zombie world. Oh man, at least we not in the world where all the Avengers die. Oh man, at least we not in the world where Ultron and Vision come together. Like, all these other what if possibilities, in my opinion, should always kind of make us look back and be like, dang, look how special. Some might even say how lucky the main universe is. So to me, I didn't really care for how safe season 2 was, because the whole purpose of What If is to give us alternate realities. I'm not saying it's a bad series. I'm not saying that at all. I still think it was good. I'm just saying I prefer what season 1 did, because for one thing, all the episodes were not always connected. And we did get the original character, with Kahori. That's a definite plus. I don't think I probably would have chose Captain Carter as a lead for so many stories. That to me was kind of like y'all don't have nobody else. Like, I mean, I like Captain Carter, but I don't think I needed her for 3 episodes. Like, there's so many other characters. There's so many other possibilities. We're dealing with what if? It's what if, which means there should be so many different things that happen. You don't have to stick to the same formula. You don't have to stick to the same characters. You could just go all over the place with stuff, But anyway, so yeah, for me, it was a step down. If I had to rate, I don't know if I rated What If season 1. I don't know if I did. If I did, whatever. But if I had to give a rating for season 2, I would probably give it a 7.5 out of 10. Still enjoyable, still entertaining. But yeah, like some of the writing did not work for me. Some of the motivations of the characters felt a little forced just to push the protagonist along, like Thor, like Odin, like Doctor Strange. Those things did not work for me. Um, some things were a little predictable, but at the same time, you gave me an original character. You did some multiversal stuff here, which I do think is interesting to still see. So yeah, I'm gonna give it about a 7.5 out of 10. But y'all let me know on a scale from 0 to 10, where did you place season 2 in terms of your ranking? And did you like it? Maybe you liked it more than season 1. Maybe you didn't. Whatever you think, please let me know your thoughts in the comments down below. I did not think I was going to go over 3 hours for this, but here we are. Ha! Happy New Year. All right, let's get to some of these comments here and then we'll go here. Reagan, what you got? Definitely looking forward to what is ATLA? I don't know. Oh, Avatar. Okay, so you be hitting me with these. Well, I told you I'll be slow. Avatar. Okay. The OG version was probably my favorite show of all time. Should be better than the film. Come on now, like stop. Come on. Of course it will. Also, MCU should do something with Kahori in the future. Hers was the best episode in my opinion. Yeah, I'm with you. I absolutely loved her episode. I thought that was probably one of the better ones for sure. So yeah, I'm totally with you on that. And yeah, Avatar is gonna be just fine. I think it can't get no worse. Like you have to try to intentionally make your stuff bad to be worse than the other original movie. You have to. Mambo 1602 was Thor was talking like he's actually from 1602. Yeah, he was. And you know, I mean, that's Thor. I mean, Loki was out there doing Hamlet, so you know, sure, fine. Let's see. Tony, what you got? Someone said that James Gunn DCU might be doomed because of the comic book fatigue, but I don't believe that because of Into the Spider-Verse and Volume 3 did well at the box office. I just think people are tired of the mediocre. I think you are absolutely right. I think I had just posted about that too. There was an article that came out that said exactly what I've been saying, that people are not, there is no comic book fatigue. Y'all just tired of bad movies and mediocre movies, you know. And that is the case. And here's the thing. Some people are under the belief that comic book movies just need to take a break. You know, I was having a conversation with one of my friends and he was like, well, it's the volume. You know, some people are just tired of so much stuff that's coming out. Now, here's the thing. I understand that argument to an extent because when there's so much comic book stuff coming out, my question is, who's forcing y'all to watch it? No, like if let's use this example. If there were 7 musicals that came out in a year, and if y'all don't rock with musicals, are you fatigued with musicals? Because I'm not. I'm just not going to go watch them. I can't get fatigued over something I'm not checking for. It just doesn't make sense. You know, so for me, I'm just like, I don't understand the whole concept of being tired of volume or too much of the superhero stuff unless somebody's forcing you to watch it. If they're not, stop. You ain't got to get tired. You can't get tired if you just go, unless you're forcing yourself. And on top of that, I don't recall people being tired when these movies was hitting. 2018 was a fantastic year for comic book movies. When we came right off of Thor Ragnarok, then we had Black Panther, then we had Infinity War, then we had Into the Spider-Verse, then we had Endgame, then we had come on now. Like, who was sitting here talking about, I'm so tired of these comic book movies. I'm so tired of superheroes. Oh, the fatigue is real. Y'all, people don't talk about fatigue when the movies are good. They were not. This is why I keep saying it always boils down to the quality of the films. So even if one's argument is, man, we have so many things and we got to take a break. Well, let me ask y'all this. Let's take a break from comic book movies for 5 years. Okay? Let's take a break for 5 years. And when we come back in 2029, you know what y'all finna see? Morbius Part 2, Madam Web, Venom Part 8, Craven. You think that break is going to make us feel better when we come back and see all of that? I don't. Because in my opinion, if we take a break from mediocrity just to come back to mediocrity, that's not going to help us. That's not going to make us be like, man, good thing I'm no longer fatigued. You're going to get fatigued right fast, real, like all over again. So, once again, at the end of the day, it always comes down to quality. It always comes down to that. When it comes to James Gunn and the DCU, though, and by the way, thank you so much for that contribution. It's about whether or not these movies are going to be good. I don't care what some loud, small, section of the Twitterverse wants to cry about and who they want to fire. I don't care about that. Because if the movies are good, then no one's going to have an issue. No one is going to stop these things. And no one is going to complain about fatigue. And I do believe that James Gunn has enough competency to at least give us a Superman movie that's not going to totally suck. I'm not saying his Superman movie is going to be the best. I'm not saying it's going to be the next Christopher Reeve, this, that. I'm not saying none of that. I'm just saying the guy knows how to at least not make terrible movies. You might not be a fan of everything he does, but he's not going to make a terrible movie. So I'm somewhat confident in what he's going to do. I wouldn't say that it's doomed. I think it's way too early for that. I did tell y'all my red flags, though. You got the director of The Flash to do your Batman movie when Batman is arguably your best fictional moneymaker. And you take the guy that made one of the biggest flops to be in charge of that? James Gunn, the decision maker, makes me worried more than James Gunn, the director. Tony, I hope that answered your question. Thank you so much for your contribution. I really appreciate you. Quiet one. Marvel is starting to randomly place Thanos like Star Wars does with Vader. When all fails, break glass and rely on fans' love for the character. Well, I would argue that they're starting to wane my trust with that. Like my trust is waning. And here's the thing. Here's the main difference. When Star Wars throws Vader into something, he ain't no slouch. He ain't getting defeated. He's keeping that same energy and he understands the assignment every single time. Listen, Thanos, that ain't happening with him. When Vader showed up in Rogue One, that took Vader to another level I ain't never seen Vader do. I ain't never seen Vader move like that. Vader said, this is my hallway, and I'm going to force y'all out of it. What did Thanos do? What has he done except for getting vaporized, dusted, and stabbed and killed multiple times? If Marvel thinks this is a good move, it's not. It's not. Because you're really starting to undo everything that you built up with Thanos. And it's not a good look, in my opinion. Quiet one. Once again, Marvel really struggles with his villain story arcs in movies and TV shows and one-off storylines. Well, sometimes, they do have a reputation, especially in the early phases, phase 1 and 2. They've really had a bad reputation with the villains. I think they started to step it up. I still think Killmonger is a top villain. I think Baron Zemo is a top villain. Thanos is like one of the best. Live action Thanos is one of the best villains we've had so far. High Evolutionary, great villain. But yeah, they've had some where they've struggled for sure. And that's been a ongoing thing to really just be consistent. Because I don't think Marvel has figured out the secret sauce in really making a villain compelling. I think that Marvel has fallen into the trap of what used to make a villain compelling, and they haven't learned how to switch off that gear yet. What I'm talking about is when you have a villain that's morally gray, but when they're so gray that you actually don't hate them, right? So this is one of those things where it's almost like Killmonger, where Killmonger, he was like, yo, I'm here for the liberation of black people, right? I mean, how you gonna argue that? But then they kind of went the cheap way, making him actually kill black people. It's like, what? Like, what are you doing? You know, like, so it got to the point where it was kind of like, all right, we forgot you're the villain, you know, so we have to force you to do things to make us not like you. But I think that what they forgot are some of the best villains are the villains that we love to hate or that we fear. One of the reasons why, now for a gray villain, I'd say Zemo was a great example of a gray villain because Zemo was a byproduct of trauma from the Avengers, right? The Avengers did all this stuff in Sokovia and all that. They killed this man's family. They turned him into a villain. So even though you didn't agree with all the stuff he was doing, you was like, I understand, right? But my point also is when you look at some of the best villains, they're the villains we hate. You look at Thanos. Well, I didn't really hate Thanos. I was like, Thanos is just the Thanos was scary. That like second he beat up the Hulk, like, well, y'all popped. Avengers, y'all screwed. Everybody's done. You know, you look at popular outside of the MCU. Look at what was the guy's name? Purple Man in Jessica Jones. Oh my god. That had to have been one of my favorite villains of all time. He's not in the MCU, but Purple Man in Kilgrave. Thank you. Kilgrave and Jessica Jones. First of all, if you haven't watched Jessica Jones, I totally recommend just watching it just for Kilgrave. That is a true villain. There were no redeeming elements about him. You found out he had a bad childhood. You was like, man, whatever, because dude was a piece of crap. That is a villain that I'm like, I hate that guy. Beat him up. Then if you go outside of that, who are some of the top villains of all time? You got Homelander from the boys. Don't nobody like him. Now we like to watch him because he's compelling, but Homelander is a villain. Yeah, he got his mama issues and his daddy issues, but he's a villain. Even that girl he was messing with, Storm, whatever, the whole Nazi villain. Number one villain of all time. King Joffrey, Game of Thrones. I don't even like the actor. I mean, if I see the actor, I want to punch him. I mean, I won't. I'm just saying that's how good that man did his job. He did a good job. I don't even like his face. He grew a mustache and I still don't like him. That is a good villain. Marvel is too scared to just do that. You got to give us somebody that we either love to hate or that we fear. Now, this is where I think, High Evolutionary. Thank you, Aleve. That was another good example. That was somebody, he ain't had no redeeming qualities. Dude was a madman, torturing animals. Easy villain to hate, right? And you get drawn to that because that's what villains do. But this is where I'm hoping Marvel figures things out with Doctor Doom. I'm hoping Marvel understands that with Doctor Doom, I'm not saying he got to be the most vile person, but you do need to make him the most feared person. You have to make him somebody that, when I say fear, I mean that in both aspects, in terms of terror and of respect. So you have to fear this guy because he's a problem. Like he is what Tony Stark and Iron Man would be like if they came together and they were evil. Like, because he can do magic and technology stuff, right? So he's a problem on that level, but at the same time, you have to respect this dude because he's also a king, of Latveria, of his people. So if you're a Latverian, you don't have a problem with Doctor Doom. You like, yo, that's my king. He take care of us. He feed us. It's almost like Namor in the comics. I wouldn't say in the movies, but it's almost like Namor in the comics. Like, yo, you don't mess with this dude. Okay. Listen, fear on both sides. That's what they need. Anyway, that's a long answer for that. I need to make another video on villains. Anywho, thank you, Quiet One. I appreciate you. Guys, this is long. I didn't this was not the way the new year was supposed to start. This was not it. But here we are. I will have to slice these up into different little clips or whatever. But guys, I want to thank y'all so much for taking the time to hang out with your boy. Really appreciate it. We will see if there's any movie news this week. I don't know if there is because I feel like Hollywood might still be on break. But we will see when we get there. I don't know if I'm watching anything. I don't know. I figured out. I have to watch. Oh, I got to finish Reacher, and then maybe I'll get the Twisted Metal. I think one of my New Year's resolutions might be to finish Andor, but that's still debatable too. I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. I want to thank you all. Make sure you guys have I hope you had a wonderful holiday. Hope you had a great break. Um, Shout out and sympathies for those of y'all going back to work like I am tomorrow. I am jealous of everybody else who gets a school break. My wife is on break. I'm not mad because she needs a break. Um, but at least I'll have less traffic. So can't be mad about that. But anyway, have a good rest of the week. We will see each other maybe on Friday. We'll see. But anyway, guys, thank you so much. Shout out to the replay gang. And you know the routine. Wash your hands, wash your butts, and everything in between. All right, guys. See you later. Peace.